football club, and that will only stand him in good stead for when he goes back to Chelsea and becomes their number one striker over the next few years, I think.
And Alvin Martin, can you actually see that happening? He's had a little taste of the England setup as well, Tammy Abraham. Can you see him going back to Chelsea at some point, even if it's not this month, and becoming a regular fixture in that first team picture at Chelsea?
Well, I think he needs to have more definition in his play. If you look, he's playing for a manager who knows how to get the best out of him, that is for sure. He's playing a side that's playing really well
and becoming a regular
fixture, haven't he? And he's scoring. I watched him last year a few times when he was at Swansea, and he looked like he had real ability, technically very good. But I was looking at him thinking, what are you actually going to score or create? He played on the edge of the game, and he showed some lovely little cameos, you know, with his technique. But he didn't look like he had goals in him. Well, he certainly found his shooting boots. I think it's 14 in 19 games now. He got 10 in his last 9. So he's flying in terms of goal scoring. But I think that's what he is. He needs to be scoring goals, and he needs to find a position. He don't look like an out-and-out forward to me. He looks like somebody's just going to play off a forward. He's a big lad, isn't he? But there's not much of him. You know, he's tall and a little bit gangly. But he's certainly the sort of player I wouldn't like to have played against, because he's unpredictable as well. So certainly, as Simon said there, potentially he could be a really good player. But I think he needs maybe 2 seasons where he's consistently scoring and getting up to the 20 goal a year mark, and then you might start to see Chelsea taking a bigger interest in putting him in the first team.
Mark Bircham is back with us. Let's talk to you about the Millwall team news, and that is that Lee Gregory is out injured, the top scorer. It's a blow for Neil Harris, no doubt about that, in this massive game at Portman Road against Ipswich Town. A few little nerves among Millwall fans, certainly on social media, that maybe it'll mean that Lee Gregory is about to move. You know, when a player's out on January the 1st, all the fans will start thinking, oh, that's him off then. And he's certainly capable of playing at a higher level, Mark. Have we lost Mark again?
No, I'm back. It's these TalkSport headsets. They need some new ones, to be fair.
So Lee Gregory, he's not going to go anywhere, is he?
Grego, I don't know. He's coming to the end of his contract. He's a northern lad. Ian Holloway signed him from Halifax, so you never know. But Lee's not one to miss games through injury. He has to be proper injured to miss it, because he's a battler. It would be a big loss to Mill if he did go. But the bad luck that Mill had, they bought Bradshaw at record prime, and he got injured and done his ACL, so it's a bit of a bad timing. So you got Morrow, you got Morrison there to step up if need be as well, and that's probably been where Mill's weakness. They haven't got enough goals from up front, and Lee Gregory's got them goals, but they do need to add more. But that's the thing, is forwards cost money, and Mill don't have that much money to buy forwards.
And on QPR as well, we talked earlier about Eberici Eze. I mean, at what point would it be right for him to leave? Because, you know, when the window's open, the fear is there among the fans, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, but with Eze, he just needs to get games under his belts. He's gone off the ball a little bit recently, which was probably expected, because it's been his first full season in the Championship, and to play Saturday, Tuesday at a younger age, he's going to have a little bit of dip in form, or not be as effective as he is, because as a player, sometimes he's breathtaking. He does remind me a little bit of Adele, with a bit more work rate when he was at QPR. So yeah, especially in this Christmas period, he needs a good game. He needs to spark, he needs a goal to set him off, and then when he does, like last year we played Aston Villa away and we won 3-1, and he was sensational that day. He played in the 10 role, and from then he's kicked on, so hopefully it's a ground that he'll feel familiar at and hit the ground running and score a goal today.
Well, we shall see. Let's go back to Simon Grayson, who's at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday, taking on Birmingham City this afternoon, and just having a quick look at the Blackburn Rovers team sheet. Simon Grayson, there's a certain Joe Grayson on the bench. I think he was on the bench for an EFL Carabao Cup game earlier this season. This is his first time on the Championship bench, is it?
Yeah, he made his debut in the Carabao Cup early in the year, and then he was in the squad last night. He said he thought he'd be 19th man, and then I've seen on the team sheet he's on the bench. So delighted for him. Good start to the season, to the new year. He just signed a new 3-year contract a couple of weeks ago there, so pleased how he's doing, and it'd be nice for him to get an opportunity. Obviously a bit gutted I'm at Hillsborough now.
Yeah, do you need to get off?
I won't get paid if I disappear now, will I?
Absolutely not. And Alvin Martin, any word of advice for Simon Grayson on having sons playing in professional football now, how it affects you?
Yeah, when you go round to their house, Simon, don't drive them crackers, tell them what they should be doing, because in the end they dread you coming round, mate.
I know, I get that. So he drives me mad at times when he comes down to see me.
How good is he, Simon? Oh, let's know, it's a hard question for you to answer, but what kind of player is he?
He's used to be a midfield player, now he's been converted into a centre-back under Tony. He's very much like a Charlie Mulgrew type. He's left-footed, he's got a lovely left foot, sees a pass, and he's 6'2", so he's got more talent than his dad, but he can't kick players like I used to.
What is it about the Grayson family and being sportsmen? It's incredible. Is it, what genes have you got? Amazing.
Well, my dad's going to take all the credit, isn't he? He used to be a good cricketer and footballer in the non-league area in region. So yeah, we're just fortunate the way it's gone, I suppose.
I think it's a little bit more than that. Well, we'll see if he comes on and check on his progress. One more player, by the way. Mansfield have won Grimsby Town this afternoon, so that incredible unbeaten run continues for Mansfield. A word on Jarrod Bowen at Hull City, Simon, because I think we're all expecting a lot of interest in him this January. Hull City really can't afford to lose him. They've got themselves a lot of points in the bank, which they may well be relying on come the end of the season if they lose Jarrod Bowen. He's a really quality player, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He's been excellent for Hull over the last couple of years. He can play either side, he can play off the striker, he's got a goal in him. It's no surprise that a lot of the teams he's been linked with moves. To what level they think he can go and play, I'm not quite sure. Can he go to the Premier League? Time will tell. It'll be a difficult one for Hull because you know there's not a lot of money at Hull, and if they get a real big offer, do they decide to cash in while they can? Ultimately then try and improve the squad with the money reinvested in it. So it's a difficult one for Hull and Nigel because when you've got a key asset like he is who's getting you the goals and winning your matches, you want to keep hold of him, but sometimes when you've got no money you have to take the sacrifice of selling the player to reinvest. I'm told that the Hull City owner wants £15 million for Jarrod Bowen. Can you see a club paying that, Simon? In this day and age, yes, but also what level is he going to go to? I seem very much like a James Maddison who wasn't going to go to a top 10 Premier League club. Well, saying that though, Leicester have just got into the top 7 or 8, aren't they? But I would think if he was to go to the Premier League, I would think he would be at bottom reaches of the Premier League, and then maybe see how he develops and how he looks at him. And for 15 million in this day and age, it's nothing what Premier League clubs are paying, is it? Yeah, I mean Maddison was 21, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because Norwich were bottom half of the table, bottom half of the table last season. Maddison was clearly their best player. So it's a figure that actually might seem a bit absurd, but it does make sense in the modern market, doesn't it? Well, it does. And when you're like Hull are at this moment in time, haven't got a great deal of money, sometimes you have to sort of sell your assets and reinvest in the squad. So it'll be a difficult one. If the club come in and offer 15 million, I'm surprised the owner's actually putting a figure out there, because ultimately if somebody offers that, then he's got a decision to make, because that's what he's quoted he wants. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what level and if offers do come in for him. We shall see. We'll keep an eye on that. Of course, the January transfer window is open. Deals already being done. And we'll keep you in touch with any more that happen across the TalkSport network between now and the end of January. But let's focus on matters in hand here. We're round the grounds in the Championship. All the goals as they go in from League One, League Two and the National League this afternoon as well. But we're getting ready for the teams to come out here at the Emirates as Arsenal take on Fulham in a Premier League clash, the only one at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And let's check on the teams with the man alongside me, Ian Abrahams. Cheers, Adrian. You mentioned Jarrod Bowen there. He's been linked with both Arsenal and North London rivals Spurs. We'll see if that happens in the January transfer window. For today, Arsenal make 3 changes to the side that were absolutely thrashed at Anfield on Saturday. In come Koscielny, Guendouzi and Lacazette. Out go Lichtsteiner, Torreira and Ramsey. So Bernd Leno's in goal. It's Maitland-Niles, Socrates, Mustafi, Koscielny and Kolasinac as
as the back five. Guendouzi and Xhaka will sit in front of them. They're in front three of Aubameyang, Lacazette and Iwobi. Don't bother looking on the bench if you're looking for Mesut Ozil. He's not playing at all. As for Fulham, 4 changes from the side that beat Huddersfield in that must-win game at the Cottage on Saturday. Le Marchand, who replaced Mawson at half-time because he was injured, keeps his place. Also in today is Cisse for Seri, who was taken off at half-time. Vieto, he's dropped to the bench as well, and Chambers is ineligible. That makes way for, or makes room rather, for World Cup winner Andre Schürrle and youngster Ryan Sessegnon. So Sergio Rico's in goal. Again, a back five of Christie, Adoy, Le Marchand, Ream and Bryan. Cisse will sit in front of them. Then Schürrle, Kearney and Sessegnon, all in support of Alexander Mitrovic. Graham Scott is our referee, Adrian. Teams are out on the pitch for Arsenal against Fulham.
And Moose, Tom Kearney, the Fulham skipper today. There's been talk of, I heard Mickey Quinn talking about it on the breakfast show on TalkSport this morning, of Tom Kearney going to Newcastle, John Joe Shelby coming to Fulham. Do we know any more about that? Because I think the Fulham fans, they don't want to lose Tom Kearney. They love him.
As far as I know, I haven't spoken to Tom about it. I might mention it to him afterwards. I don't think it's going to happen. But I did mention it to my contacts at Fulham when they arrived at the ground today. I think their words were, I'd be very surprised.
Well, I'd be very surprised as well.
I don't think it's going to happen.
First of all, there's a huge wage difference between the two of them. I think John Joe Shelby must be on more than double what Kearney's on.
This time last year, Tom Kearney was thinking to move to West Ham. I know that West Ham wanted to sign him. I know that it came quite close, but Fulham wanted something like 40 million quid for him. Now, I was told there was no way that Fulham would part with their captain when they were going for a promotion push. Why would Fulham part with their captain now if they're looking to try and stay up?
You got to remember as well, this is the guy who scored the winner to bring Fulham into the Premier League. That winning goal against Aston Villa at Wembley back in May, and what a clever footballer he is. When he's been left out a couple of times this season, left on the bench this season, a bit like Sessegnon. It surprises me. They're clearly two of the best players at the football club, and it's good to see them both starting for Fulham today.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ryan is very young, and I've seen him play a lot, and I've got to know him through the England under-21s, and he's going to be a top player, make no doubt about that. Kearney, it's funny, the last couple of years, I think Kearney's been the best player in the Championship. Last year, you could argue James Maddison. Maddison scored more goals, but Maddison took penalties. You know, I think Kearney has been there or thereabouts for that accolade of best player. Obviously, Ruben Neves was in the conversation last year, and eventually he was named the Championship's best player.
Players are gathering around the centre circle. There will be a minute's silence ahead of kick-off this afternoon in memory of the former chairman Peter Hill-Wood, who passed away at the age of 82 last week. So we will observe a minute's silence here at the Emirates. He's synonymous with the football club, as the Hill-Wood family have been for over 100 years. So we will pay our respects, and we will observe the minute's silence as well for Peter Hill-Wood. Just give you some words from Sir Chips Keswick, the Arsenal chairman, currently saying the contribution Peter has made to this football club will never be forgotten. You may have heard a little bit of noise. That's people out in the concourse weren't totally aware of what was going on inside this stadium. But Peter Hill-Wood, synonymous with Arsenal Football Club and a very popular chairman. We paid our own tribute with Ray Parlour on Saturday's Matchday Live show. Just want to give you another little story that's it's from Tony Adams' book, actually, and it's around the time Arsene Wenger was approached to be the manager of Arsenal. Tony Adams got a call from Peter Hill-Wood, and he said, and Tony Adams didn't believe it was Peter Hill-Wood, And so Mr. Hillwood said to him, "No, Tony, it is the chairman. I'm phoning from New York. It's the chairman. I hear that the you-know-what has hit the fan. Don't worry, we've got a good guy coming. Rally the troops. See you soon," and put the phone down. And that's classic Peter Hillwood. I was lucky enough to meet him on several occasions. Absolutely synonymous with Arsenal and one of the great men of this football club in its history. No question about that. The game is underway. It is Matchday Live on Talk Sports. And when we're done, there's a full-time phone in. And don't forget, of course, we've got the darts tonight as well. On Thursday, Drive will come live from the Etihad. Me and Darren Goff, 4 through till 7 on Talk Sport, ahead of Manchester City against Liverpool. What a game. We've got a goal already at Pride Park. Jeff Peters.
It's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0. It's Harry Wilson who has scored his 9th league goal of the season. It's taken, 80 seconds, something like that. Ball was played forward to him. He took it just outside the penalty area, one touch, then left-footed and beat Randolph, the goalkeeper. Start. They're taking the momentum from that incredible 4-3 comeback win against Norwich at the weekend. Wilson, wow, what a start, Alvin Martin.
Well, I've got to say, Jeff, that I was watching them finishing, practicing before the game, and the finishing was a really high standard. Well, this one is right up there. A lovely run, a ball played through the heart of Middlesbrough's defence, and he took it so early, found that bottom left-hand corner, brilliant strike.
How much do they need to hang on to Harry Wilson, Alvin?
Well, he's so important, isn't he? But you can see whenever the ball goes to him, there's a great atmosphere today, by the way. They're really up for it, the fans, and it looks like the players have responded to that atmosphere. But anyone who gets that amount of goals is invaluable to you at this level.
He is flying at the moment, Harry Wilson. What a start for the Rams here. It's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0.
There's another goal in the Championship early on. It's at the Medeski Stadium. TalkSport's Nigel Pearson.
Yes, in the second minute of the match, it's Reading 0, Swansea City 1, and it's Ollie McBurn who's got the goal with a glancing header. Ball played in from the right-hand side, and McBurney was there with a header which looped past Ansi Yakola in the Reading goal. What a start for Graham Potter's side. Reading 0, Swansea 1.
And a goal in League 2 as well. George Williams, 5th in 3 games as Forest Green Rovers lead Northampton Town by a goal to nil. Earlier, Mansfield were 1-0 winners at Grimsby. So in the Championship, Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Swansea lead at Reading 1-0 as well. Earlier in the Premier League, Leicester 1-0 winners at Everton. Jamie Vardy with the only goal. Doncaster take the lead against Rochdale in League 1. Alfie May with the goal. And here at the Emirates, we're still goalless, but Arsenal have gone close, Ian Abrahams.
We should already have a goal, Adrian. Sorry, 3 minutes gone. It's Arsenal 0, Fulham 0, but Arsenal inside a minute and a half. Ball down the left-hand side. Xhaka's pass for Iwobi. Ball across for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's 6-7 yards out, level with the near post, and somehow he's lifted it over Rico's goal. He didn't even make the goalkeeper have to make a save. It was a criminal miss. I was certain, actually, that he was going to score. I mean, the one thing Aubameyang has been brilliant at since arriving at Arsenal is every time he has a shot on goal, it normally goes in the back of the net. It's been all Arsenal so far. I mean, so far Fulham have pretty much been camped in their own penalty area as they are at the moment, struggling to get the ball forward, and when they do, they just whack out a play like they've just done. This could be a very, very long afternoon for Claudio Ranieri's side. 0-0 after 3 minutes, but I don't anticipate it staying that for very long.
Yeah, what it needs is Fulham to get an early goal, doesn't it?
What I don't get is that, and listen, it's a stat that's out there which I think will be broken this afternoon. Arsenal have not led a game at half time at all in the Premier League this season, and Fulham look like they've come here to be very defensive. All right, I understand they don't want to throw caution to the wind and open themselves up to Arsenal, but this is an Arsenal side whose confidence must be quite fragile after defeats at Southampton and Liverpool, and I just don't get why at the moment they seem to be very happy, Fulham, to concede possession to Arsenal, because Arsenal, one thing they will do over a passage of time in the game is if they have enough of the ball, they will kill you with it. They'll do enough to score goals. They might have to score the perfect goal, but they'll score goals.
Yeah, you've got to look at Fulham's selection. Alvin Martin mentioned it earlier. You've got Schürrle playing, Sessegnon's playing, Kearney's playing, Mitrovic is playing. They have attacking players, so when they do get the ball, they're expecting those players to make something happen, and then they normally do, don't they?
They normally do. Schürrle, I think, he was a Premier League winner at Chelsea. He's a World Cup winner with Germany. His powers are not as big as they used to be. There's a ball actually over the top for Mitrovic to chase, but Leno will come out and deal with that. But I think if you're so far down the pitch defending, which Fulham have been for most of the game so far, then how quickly are you going to be able to get out the pitch to support those 3 or 4 creative players?
Let's see what happens. Goalless so far. Arsenal 0, Fulham 0. Let's get a goal though at the Bet365 in the Championship. Simon Humphries.
It's actually a penalty, Adrian, to Stoke City. It's been awarded for a foul by Jesus, back doing some defending. He's tripped Bruno Martins-Indy in the penalty area. Persistence paid off with Martins-Indy, and it's a chance for Benica Phoebe to put the Potters in front here at the Bet365 stadium, up against the goalkeeper Mayampa. He comes forward, shoots, and he saved it. The keeper's dived away and guessed correctly. What a super save. Poor penalty, it has to be said as well. Not much pace and power in it. Not the kind of start Stoke City wanted. Bristol, by the way, are down to 10 men. There's a clash of heads on the first minute between Webster and Pack. Webster's gone off injured, the man who scored the winner for them at the weekend. But at the moment, 6 gone. It's Stoke 0, Bristol City 0.
Penalty save there. Goal has gone in though at the City Ground. Dave Rowe.
Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0. Jack Colback is the man who scored his first goal of the season. It's a horror show for Adam Forshaw for Leeds United. It was a Leeds set piece and they got everyone forward as Forest broke away quickly. Forshaw's back pass to Bailey. Peacock Farrell was far too short, and Colback, who was the furthest man forward, nipped in to round the keeper and score. Forest have been forced into an early change. Michael Heffler has gone off injured. They have centre-backs going out almost every week. Dawson and Figueiredo are also injured, so Claudio Jacob now playing at the back with Guardiola coming into centre field. But Jack Colback, taking the gift from Forshaw's error, makes it Forest 1, Leeds 0. It's live on TalkSport 2.
And what a goal at Portman Road. Ipswich lead Millwall 1-0. Jack Lancaster with his first goal for Ipswich Town, the youngster. Played in on the right, cut in, and then slotted beyond Jordan Archer in the Millwall goal. And it's Ipswich 1, Millwall 0. Ipswich bottom of the table where they have been for some time. Of course, the Posh are losing 1-0 down at home to Scunthorpe. Lee Novak, they've also cleared one off the line. Peterborough. Milton Keynes have had a patchy Christmas over the league. Cambridge United 1-0. Reece Healy with the goal, and a few goals in the National League to tell you about, where Ebbsfleet lead at Braintree 1-0. Cody McDonald with that one. Hartlepool have gone in front against Gateshead. Liam Noble with a penalty, and Harrogate lead at Halifax 1-0. George Thompson with that goal. Let's head to Griffin Park. Latest there with Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 0, Norwich 0. A couple of chances so far, both for Brentford. First of all, Ben Rama put Moorpie scampering away, but he overran the ball and it drifted through to the goalkeeper Tin Krul. Moments ago, Said Ben Rama with a shot from the edge of the box, but he miscued and it went wide. Alongside me is Mark Bircham. Mark, we're looking at the 2 strikers this afternoon, 2 of the leading players in the Championship, Moorpie for Brentford and Pookie for Norwich. How do you assess those 2 guys?
Yeah, Moorpie more complete forward. I think he comes and gets the ball short. He looks to play feet, but he also looks to get in behind. But Pookie looks to play on the shoulder and get right in behind. Oh,
and a shot there for Norwich by Vrancic just across the face of the goal at that end of the ground, Birch. In fact, I can remember a game here 15 years ago that I was at, Brentford against QPR. There was a last-minute winner for QPR, shot into the top corner, massive celebration behind that goal. The player who scored, blue and white hair, ripped off his shirt, ran over to the crowd. That was you, wasn't it?
I think it was, but that was when TV was in black and white, Tony. It was that long ago.
Well, we're hoping for celebrations like that this afternoon. It's Brentford 0, Norwich City 0.
League One leaders Portsmouth are 1-0 up against Wimbledon. Jamal Lowe with his 3rd in 2 games. They were 5-2 winners after being behind at Fleetwood on Saturday. Charlton lead Walsall. Charlton back-to-back defeats have kind of halted their playoff push. Carlin Grant, their top scorer, has scored this afternoon at the Valley, and Crew lead at Bury 1-0. Chris Porter with the goal in League 2. Milton Keynes 2-0 up on Cambridge now. Inside 7 minutes, Kieran Agard has got the second. Arsenal corner here. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, it didn't actually go in play. It was such a bad corner entry when it was taken.
Truly dreadful.
Went out of play. 0-0 still.
Plymouth 1, Oxford United 0. Let's go to Pride Park. Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
Where it's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0. That strike inside 2 minutes from Harry Wilson. 6 in his last 9 league games. 10th overall for the season. 9 of those in the league. Got on the end of Marriott's pass. 1 touch and a terrific finish. Should also mention as well, Middlesbrough had to make a change before kick-off. Aidan Flint picked up a hamstring injury in the warm-up, so Danny Bart has come into the side for him. And it's never great, is it, Alvin Martin, when you do all your planning and your preparation and then in the warm-up you have to change things around.
And they got caught cold, didn't they? I've got to say that it's a very aggressive, competitive game. And the tempo was really high. They've had a really bright start. They're moving the ball from penalty box to penalty box really well, Derby. And the crowd have created a good atmosphere here. And they've responded to it, as I said. But, you know, I think some of the football that they're playing is really expansive. I'm being surprised how well they've moved the ball about, Baldy.
And it's about momentum, isn't it? Try and get on that run, and what a result that they had, coming from 2-0 down and 3-2 down late on to win at the weekend, and then bring it on into this.
I think obviously they're high, and you know, after you've had a performance and a result like that, you hope to take it into your next game. So the crowd have obviously come here expecting a big game. They're being given one at the moment, but I think they've responded well, Middlesbrough. They have settled down in the last sort of 5 minutes, Jeff.
It can be a bit after the Lord Mayor show when you get a great result, but wow, this really has been a terrific start. They've actually got a free kick, Derby County, midway inside the Middlesbrough half. It's quite a long way out. Nobody's going to take a pot shot from there. It's taken short. In fact, a shot does come in from distance and it pings wide of the goal. It's Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0.
More goals going in. Lyle Taylor's penalty makes it Charlton 2, Walsall 0 in League One already. That's inside 10 minutes. Walsall have lost winger Josh Giannelli. He's gone off to Preston North End for an undisclosed fee, but they have signed former West Ham man Matt Jarvis, who's gone to Walsall. Hasn't played for a couple of years at Norwich. Hopefully his injury problems are behind him. Plymouth lead Oxford 1-0. Anthony Sarcevic has got that. Plymouth 5 points from safety, bottom of League One. Back to the Championship, to the DW. Talksport's Derek Clark.
Yeah, around 12 minutes gone in this one. It's Wigan Athletic 0, Sheffield United 0, but it's been a very lively start to this game. Wigan with a half chance, it has to be said, just moments ago. Gary Roberts with an in-swinging left-footed cross into the box. Joe Garner got a head on it, but he couldn't quite get a connection to head it towards goal. But very exciting start to this one. Wigan 0, Sheffield United 0.
What's going on at Ewood Park? Talksport's Don McGuinness.
Well, it is Rovers 0, West Brom 0, but it's all been Rovers in the opening stages. A couple of great chances as well. Graham latching onto a ball from Bradley Dack back in the side. Good save from Sam Johnson with his feet. And Graham with a header that deflected wide for a corner from a good ball in from the right-hand side from Reid. Jay Rodriguez, who can play, of course, after having his ban overturned, getting booed mercilessly, the Burnley man. It is Rovers 0, West Brom 0.
Wow, 12 minutes gone at Stadium MK, and it's Milton Keynes 3, Cambridge United 0. Colin Calderwood has got a win in his few games in charge at Cambridge, but he's getting a battering early on at Milton Keynes this afternoon. Actually, just 1 point from 3 Christmas games before today, Milton Keynes, but still maintaining second spot in League 2. Chuck Zanicki, who scored on Saturday but also missed a penalty. He has got the goal for them, their top scorer. Milton Keynes 3, Cambridge 0 in League 2. Let's go to Hillsborough. Latest there, Simon Grayson and Alan Biggs.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Birmingham City 0. Very 0-0 so far. A bitty sort of game, very fragmented. Sheffield Wednesday marginally on top. The one semblance of a chance created by them, a crossfield ball from Barry Bannon. I say a chance, it wouldn't be to most players, but because Adam Reach has scored so many spectacular goals this season, even though he was at a sharp angle when it fell onto his right foot for a volley, you did think it might be on target, but it was well adrift on this occasion. Simon, we looked at each other even a couple of minutes into the game and mutually agreed it wasn't going to be a classic.
Yeah, there wasn't too much to talk about, was there? And when both teams have gone into the final third, they've crossed it and it's gone too long or out of play. There's not been a great deal of quality. Birmingham is sitting back and trying to hit Sheffield Wednesday on the counter-attack. Balls up to Jukovic and Adams. Sheffield Wednesday just got to show a little bit more quality, but as it stands at this moment, Alan, it's not a lot of on show, is there, to talk about?
The most polite thing you can say for both teams is they're compact, I think you would say. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Birmingham City 0.
Yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about. Carlisle lead at Morecambe 1-0. Jamie Devitt has got the goal on 15 minutes in League 2. Back to the Championship, to Villa Park. What's going on there? Talksport's Tom Ross.
Quarter of an hour gone. Aston Villa 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0, and a bright start from both teams, but Villa getting a bit of a grip on the game now. They've had a couple of decent chances. Chester flicked one over the bar. He should have done better, and then Tammy Abrahams turned Leicester just inside the box, but his shot was saved at the near post. It's Aston Villa 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0 at Villa Park.
back to the Bet365. What's going on, Simon Humphries?
15 minutes gone, Adrian. It's Stoke City 0, Bristol City 0. That penalty miss from Benik Afobe on 5 minutes. The big talking point. Martin Zindi brought down by Jeju in the penalty area. Referee had no hesitation. Paul Teedy pointing to the spot. Afobe's spot kick, though, well saved by Nicky Mayampai, diving away to his left-hand side. Since then, James McLean's had a running shot just wide, and Bristol were on a 3-on-2 counter-attack just moments ago. Patterson, though, fed Jeju, but he overran the ball, and Ryan Shawcross was there to clear any danger. 15 gone here at the Bet365. It's Stoke City 0, Bristol City 0.
Well, Fulham should be in front here at the Emirates, Ian Abrams.
What a great chance. Arsenal 0, Fulham 0. Ball played out towards the right-hand side. Ryan Sessegnon, he's like a hare at Romford Dogs going round, you know, with the little fluffy bunny teddy bear thing that the greyhounds chased. They were chasing after him and they couldn't get to him. Edge of the penalty area, he thought, shall I hit it? Took a touch into the box. Leno came out but was going to dive and try and make a save. Wasn't going to get near it, but of course Sessegnon dragged it wide of the far post. Real good. That's probably as good a chance Fulham are going to have until possibly Schürrle had a good chance there, but that was a charge down. Still Arsenal 0, Fulham 0, but Ryan Sessegnon should have scored 8.
Yeah, he should have scored, should have at least got it on target. What happened just there was Schürrle's received the ball and he's about 30 yards out. He's been passed the ball by an Arsenal defender. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Well, this is what they were doing at Liverpool as well in the first half. They were trying to pass it out, and Leno hasn't got a clue how to do that. I mean, they just look a shambles trying to pass out from the back sometimes, especially when there's pressure on, and literally just gave the ball to Schürrle. Inexplicably, he couldn't control it, so it went straight back to an Arsenal player. But at times, Arsenal are their own worst enemy.
Well, that's why they conceded so many goals. By the way, we arrived here today. A young lady who works for Arsenal Football Club gleefully came out to us and said, "It's a sellout, sold out, there are no tickets left." How many empty seats can you see?
Loads. There's loads, yeah. To be fair, she did say that if there are any returns, they will be sold on a little bit later, but there's so many here.
What's the point in buying a ticket for something you're not going?
A whole queue of people at the ticket office were told it's a sellout, so they dispersed. So very, very strange goings on. But 0-0 here. Let's go to the Medeski Stadium in the Championship. TalkSport's Nigel Pearson.
17 minutes gone here. It is Reading 0, Swansea City 1. That opening goal from Ollie McBurney on the second minute of the game. It was a header out of reach of the keeper after a ball in from the right-hand side. Good build-up work from Swansea. But since then, Reading have started to get more of the ball. Swift with the free kick for Reading on 5 minutes from 25 yards out. Powered away by Owen Mulder in the Swansea City goal. And just moments ago, a Luco for Reading, an optimistic shot from 25 yards out. To be fair, it was well off target. Perhaps should have done a little bit better than that. But Reading, with their new manager taking charge at home for the first time, Jose Gomez, they're on the back foot. It's Reading 0, Swansea City 1.
Let's find out what's been happening at the KCOM early stages. TalkSport's Ollie Pimlock.
18 minutes gone. Hull City 0, Bolton Wanderers 0. A very bitty and fragmented opening 18 minutes here. A lot of people suffering a New Year's hangover. Well, it won't be improving on what we've seen so far. Just the one chance, it fell to former Tigers man Clayton Donaldson on the 6th minute, who attempted an ambitious overhead kick, but it went well wide of the Hull goalkeeper David Marshall's net. Poor stuff here at the KCOM. It's Hull 0, Bolton 0.
And to the New York Stadium in the Championship on TalkSport, Derm Tanner.
18 minutes gone, Rotherham 0, Preston 0, and you can see why Preston haven't scored so many goals away from home. They should be 4 up. They had 4 fantastic chances. Really good shot from Nemecha, well saved. A free kick from Gallagher, equally well saved by Rodak. Burkhausen in front of goal, pulled a shot wide, and Burke right in front of goal, 4 yards out, smothering save from Rodak to keep it away. It's all Preston. Rotherham have done nothing at all. We've played 18 minutes. It's 0-0.
Matchday live on TalkSport with Just Eat Football Food, living the dream. Latest scores then: Premier League, Arsenal 0, Fulham 0 here at the Emirates. Cardiff Spurs is at 5:30. Everton 0, Leicester 1 was a result from the early game. In the Championship, if you don't hear your game, it's goalless in the EFL. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Ipswich 1, Millwall 0, Forest 1, Leeds 0, and Swansea 1 up at Reading. In League 1, Charlton 2, Walsall 0, Doncaster 1, Rochdale 0, Scunthorpe 1 up at Peterborough. Scunny have had one cleared off the line as well, and they've hit the underside of the bar. They may be struggling towards the bottom, but they're well on top at the ABAC Stadium this afternoon. Plymouth 1, Oxford 0, Portsmouth the leaders 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, and in League 2, Crewe lead 1-0 at Bury, looking for a third straight win. Crewe. Forest Green 1, Northampton 0. Earlier Mansfield were 1-0 winners at Grimsby to end the Mariners' recent winning stretch. Milton Keynes 3 up on Cambridge already, and Carlisle lead at Morecambe 1-0. And in the National League, Ebbsfleet are 1 up, Harrogate are 1 up, Hartlepool lead Gateshead 1-0 as well. Goal at Hillsborough Middlesbrough. Let's go straight there. Alan Biggs.
Here's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 0. It's a superb goal, actually, in terms of a finish by Stephen Fletcher. It came from a Barry Bannon free kick, which was headed on, and an acrobatic turn and a left foot shot from Fletcher. What a finish that was, with his back to goal on 19 minutes. Wow, we were saying there wasn't much quality in the game, but Sheffield Wednesday have stepped it up, Simon, in the last few minutes, and that goal was coming.
Yeah, well, they had a good chance from a corner. Barry Bannon did an in-swinging corner, and I think it was Hector got middle of this the goal. Good defending from Morrison, I think it was. So the pressure's been building, but it was just a ball in the box. They won the first header, dropped to Stephen Fletcher, and managed to twist and turn and see it in the back of the net. So Sheffield Wednesday will be delighted with that.
Yeah, superb finish from Fletcher. Thanks, Simon. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 0.
And a goal at Villa Park as well. Talk Sports, Tom Ross.
21 gone, Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, and it's been coming, to be fair, the last 10 minutes. Beautiful little move, ended with Tammy Abraham slipping the ball past the keeper Joe Lumley. A really cool, calculated finish, absolutely super finish. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Yeah, Matchday Live on TalkSport, bringing you the goals as they go in. Right, let's take you around the ground, starting here at the Emirates, where Fulham are on the breakaway. Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 0, Fulham 0. Kenny out to Session on the right-hand side. Session plays in Christie inside the penalty area, needs to get the ball across. Khan hammers it into a defender, does get it across second time, but it's unlikely to get all the way to the back post as Maitland-Niles heads it back to Leno. I've got to say that both sides have had a glorious chance to score. Arsenal, after 90 seconds, Iwobi in for Aubameyang, 6 yards out, really should have done better, blazed over. Quarter of an hour, brilliant ball by Kearney out to Session, raced onto it, shot wide of the far post. Arsenal, when they come forward, and I haven't done it too much in the last 10 minutes to be fair, really are not incisive enough. Ball over the top from Guendouzi, looking for Xhaka, straight through to Rico, and the Arsenal fans are just beginning, Adrian, to get on the team's back, which I think Fulham will be delighted about. Fulham are very much, well, I was saying they're coming into the game until, of course, the Marshall almost gives the ball away to Aubameyang, which wouldn't have been good. 0-0 here, but you feel that Arsenal needs a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that. What they've done, look, Lacazette is starting, him and Aubameyang are starting. Aubameyang is...
Can they play together?
Out on the right, of course they can, yeah, but he's playing out on the right, Aubameyang, and Lacazette is very central. And I just feel that it should be like a two up top. One of them shouldn't be pushed out wide. Why can't you play them both centrally?
What, you mean 4-4-2?
I know. 4-4-2.
Oh, you're showing your age, man. You're 50 next. You're 50 this year.
40, thanks.
Sorry, 40 this year.
Yeah, but
I thought you were my age.
To be fair, they are still trying to. Aubameyang's coming inside a lot, but he's when they start, when the keeper's got the ball, Leno's got the ball, he's way out on the right hand side. It's strange to see how it shapes up for Arsenal. They certainly need to do a little bit more than they are.
Now.
Right. Let's get a goal though. Griffin Park in the Championship. Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0. Sergio Canos is claiming the goal. It may well be an own goal. Corner on the left-hand side by Ben Rama, and Canos certainly got a touch, but I think there was a defender in there as well. The ball exploded into the bottom left-hand corner. Mark Bircham alongside him, a little bit of confusion about who actually scored that goal.
Yeah, it was a delivery, but you look at Norwich, that sometimes can be the downfall of zonal marking. They go full zonal marking in the 6-yard box. There was a little flick in it by Canos, and then I think, as you said, it's gone off the defender. It's been a lively game with a couple of chances each side, and then Norwich probably should have had a penalty earlier on, and then Brentford's gone and scored off the corner.
Yeah, let's talk about the penalty. Pukki burst into the box. He was sandwiched, really. The home defender, Rico Henry, certainly got a nudge on him. Should that have been a penalty?
Yeah, I think the way they sandwiched it weren't upper body, it was more with the legs as well. You've seen Pukki, there's no need for him to go down. He's on the end of it. He could get a shot, and as you said, the two centre forwards have been one of getting goals, but it's been the two wingers that have sort of ignited the attacking play. Sergio Canos for Brentford and Onel Hernandez, the Cuban German, they've got for Norwich.
Now we've just had the confirmation through that Julien Janvier, the announcer, has just said got the final touch on the goal. Before that, the announcement was, I haven't got a clue who scored. That was on the tannoy here. Brentford 1, Norwich City 0.
Oh, we've all been in that situation. Arsenal with a chance, and they've taken the lead right on time here at the Emirates. The Gunners lead 1-0. Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka has got the goal. It's Arsenal 1, Fulham 0, and the man who'll be desperately disappointed more than anybody else about that is Ryan Sessegnon. He just missed a glorious chance at the other end. Schürrle's ball across, an air shot 6 yards out, and on this occasion Arsenal score. It was Iwobi's ball across for Granit Xhaka, not always a favourite here, but from 5, 6, 7 yards out, he's taken a touch, controlled it and put it past Sergio Rico, so he was never really going to miss from that angle. He was involved in the early part of the move, and really I don't know, the marking, I think, is it Ream or is it LaMarchand? I think it's LaMarchand, just doesn't get across, lets him get goal side, and unfortunately Rico is exposed and Arsenal lead 1-0. Now, they've not led at half-time in a Premier League game this season. Is this the day, Adrian?
Well, it could be, but I think that given the amount of defenders that Fulham have got on the pitch, for nobody to be anywhere near Xhaka when he gets the ball inside the box, it's pathetic from Fulham, really.
Just seen the goal again. LaMarchand is taken towards the near post when the ball is played out to Obi left-hand side. LaMarchand goes towards the near post. Ream is this side of the penalty area, which means that Xhaka goes in the middle, and as you rightly say, you've got three centre-halves there. Adoy, who's not really a centre-half, I think he's more of a right-back, but he plays centre-half for Fulham. Ream and LaMarchand, and it was just rank bad marking, and Granit Xhaka has the opening goal of 2019 here at the Emirates.
Yeah, I think you've also got to look at the ball coming in. There's a little turn of the back and not enough is done. Put your body on the line for your team, for heaven's sake. Getting paid Premier League money. Just take the hit for the team as Fulham come forward again. Doncaster go 2-up against Rochdale in League One. Ali Crawford has got that. Salford City battered 5-1 at Wrexham on Boxing Day, the reverse fixture today, and Salford City lead Wrexham 1-0. Matt Green with the goal, recently signed from Lincoln. Salford 4 defeats in a row, but still very much in the promotion picture. Bradford 1, Accrington 0, Lewis O'Brien. Sunderland lead at Blackpool 1-0. Josh Madger, their top scorer, has got the goal, and Ebbsfleet the 2-up at Braintree in the National League. Let's go to the City Ground on TalkSport with Dave Rowe.
Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0. All action stuff here. Forest in front early on through Jack Colback. Could have scored a second as well with Padya Jakob heading wide from a corner, but Leeds have stepped things up, and Forest possibly fortunate to still have 11 men on the field of play. Jack Robinson's challenge on Jack Harrison on the quarter hours. Harrison latched onto a long ball. Well, it could have been deemed a red. In fact, it was deemed a yellow just outside the penalty area, and Barry Douglas put the free kick wide. We've also seen Alioski heading over, and Kemar Roos shot from a more good play by Harrison. That forced a decent save out of Costello Pantilimon. This game is lively. It's live on TalkSport 2, and it's Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0.
Told you Bradford will lead in Accrington 1-0 through Lewis O'Brien, and the Accrington striker Ofi Zanzala has now been sent off straight red on 26, so they're up against it. Stanley down to 10 men and a goal down at Bradford City. Cheltenham lead 1-0 at Yeovil. Luke Varney 2-2 for him. Zanzala sent off for Accrington is a former Derby player. How are they getting on at Pride Park? Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
Well, it's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0. Harry Wilson with the early goal, but Middlesbrough started to have opportunities. We saw a Saville corner that George Friend got a glancing header on, but ultimately it was well wide of the goal. Borough have got themselves another corner now as they try and get back on level terms. The initial corner was from this side, but it's now from the far side. It's an in-swinger into the danger zone, and Scott Carson gathers it at the second attempt. So, Alvin Martin, what have you made of how Middlesbrough have responded?
Well, they've responded well. They're getting back into the game now, as you said, and I think you have to go on a goal down early. They haven't been able to build on it, Derby. Chance here.
Here's Martin Waghorn, edge of the penalty area, chips it across goal. The offside flag is up.
But look, Jeff, there's two different contrasting styles here. Middlesbrough are playing that more direct. They've got Hugo up front, but they've got a real height advantage today, Middlesbrough. Derby are a comparatively very small side in comparison, so a big problem for them today is giving needless free kicks away, or certainly corners away in them areas, because Middlesbrough will fancy themselves to get something, and they just had one that went through to Carson, as you said there, but to tell you what, they were that close to getting a touch on it. But the contrasting styles, obviously they've got to build on the 1-goal lead. They've got to actually just pass the ball a little bit quicker and get the two wide people one-on-one. They haven't been able to do that in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and that's why Middlesbrough are looking a better side now.
It's Derby Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0.
And a goal at the Medeski, Nigel Pearson.
It's Reading 0, Swansea 2, and it's Connor Roberts who's tapped home from close range. Ball in from the right-hand side. Reading failed to deal with it. Roberts was there to simply tap it home, and the first home game for Jose Gomez is not going to plan. Reading 0, Swansea 2.
And a goal at the K-Com as well, Ollie Pimlock.
Hull City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Great work from Jared Bowen on the right-hand side. He pulled the ball back to Grzycki, who fired home up the inside of Ben Anik's net. It's Hull City 1, Bolton 0.
Yeah, Bowen been linked with the move, so too Grzycki, the Polish international. Let's head to the DW. Latest there, Derek Clark.
Half an hour gone in this one. It's still Wigan 0, Sheffield United 0. The Latics enjoying the lion's share of possession, it has to be said. They've whipped in a few dangerous crosses into the box without getting on the end of them. We've had one shot on target all game. It came for Wigan. It came from Gavin Massey from the edge of the area, but it lacked any pace or power, and it was easily gathered by Dean Henderson. It's Wigan 0, Sheffield United 0.
Let's get the latest at Ewood Park as well. TalkSport's Don McGuinness.
Well, it's still Rovers 0, West Brom 0. Played half an hour here. Bright start from Rovers, good early chances. Graham going close twice, but really Rovers have dipped and West Brom are trying to capitalise on that. Harvey Barnes has had two good chances. The first one, it was too easy for Ray, should have done better. The second one, a good save from Rovers keeper. Still Rovers 0, West Brom 0.
Let's head to Hillsborough on TalkSport with Simon Grayson and Alan Biggs.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 0. The team's divided by that great strike from Stephen Fletcher. Since when Birmingham have edged into the game a little bit, still not a major threat. They've had a couple of corner kicks. Gary Monk, their manager, with an excellent record against Sheffield Wednesday. He's won all of his last 4 championship games against them, with 3 different clubs actually, Leeds, Middlesbrough and Birmingham, but in the opposition camp Lee Bullen looking to stretch an excellent run, looking for a 4th unbeaten game as caretaker. And there's much more Simon Grayson tenacity, I reckon, about Sheffield Wednesday since that change.
Yeah, I think so. I think you've seen the midfield, they're trying to press, they've got winning a few tackles, and it's something that's been missing over the last few weeks when I've seen Sheffield Wednesday play. Birmingham really not at it yet. They're trying to get the ball up to Jukovic and Adams down the side, but not really possessing too much in terms of affecting things in the 18-yard box. But Sheffield Wednesday are quite comfortable, and they're working hard for the badge and for Lee Bullen.
Yeah, it's looking comfortable, as you say, with a 1-0 lead. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham 0.
A red card in League 2. Crawley down to 10 men against Colchester. It's goalless at the moment. Joe McNerney's been sent off. Bradford have gone 2-0 up against 10-man Accrington Stanley. It's Owen Doyle, 4 in 5 for him, and it's looking like it's going to be 4 wins in 5 for Bradford City, who were bottom of the table not so long ago. Bradford 2, 10-man Accrington 0. Back to the Championship, to Villa Park. TalkSport's Tom Ross.
32 gone, Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Rangers coming back into it now. They've had their best chance of the game and an opportunity just seconds ago when Everichi Eze, the ball came into him, and it was a great chance, and he didn't hit the target from about 6 yards out, put it over the bar. Before that we saw Furlong's cross finding Wells right inside the box, but he couldn't finish it off. The shot was blocked. Villa have hit the crossbar as well. Good game here. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
To the Bet365 on TalkSport, Simon Humphries.
It's still goalless here. Stoke City 0, Bristol City 0. Stoke have had the lion's share of possession, but just can't find a way past this resolute Bristol City defence. They had a golden opportunity on 5 minutes. Martin Zindi brought down by Jeju, but a Phobie's penalty was well saved by Nicky Mayampai. Since then, Tom Ensis twice had shots comfortably saved. James McLean went past 3 players, but hadn't got a right foot, and instead went with his left foot and fired well wide of the target. And Peter Etebo has also had a tasty volley from outside the area, but that went high, handsome and wide. Fans are starting to get frustrated slightly here. 33 gone, Stoke City 0, Bristol City 0.
Let's check in at the New York Stadium. Latest there, Derm Tanner.
33 minutes gone, Rotherham 0, Preston 0. That's the good news for Rotherham. They've really not been in this at all. The locals getting very agitated, and Preston should be 2, at least 3 up. But the only chance that Rotherham have had, and it's a good one at that, lovely volley from Ben Wiles, superb volley, excellently saved by Declan Rudd. You can hear the boos around me. That's what they make of it so far. It's Rotherham 0, Preston 0.
Arsenal come bursting forward. It's Maitland-Niles on the right-hand side. Ian Abrahams.
Maitland-Niles gets it across. It's going to be cleared at the far post, headed away by Cyrus Christie as far as Guendouzi, level the edge of the penalty area, tries to play the ball in, cannons off a defender, goes out of play. Arsenal still lead 1-0.
It is New Year's Day. We are round the grounds with all the goals as they go in on Match Day Live on TalkSport.
It's time to peel yourself off the sofa and find an even comfier one. The IKEA Winter Sale is now on, with an extra 10% off sale items for IKEA family members. Search IKEA for more details. Sale now on IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Hi, my name's Andy, and I've lost 12 stone in 33 weeks.
If you have 3 or more stone to lose and have tried 3 or more diets in the last 3 years, Elevere therapy from Silverlink Clinics could transform your life.
So I used to be a 56-inch waist, and I was
inside the 6-yard box. I mean, the bloke's just got to hammer it. He's got to absolutely put his foot through it. But instead, he's tried to caress it goalwards, I think. And Tim Ream has got a decent block in. Rico also down a little bit earlier to save from Guendouzi. Up the other end, still chances are coming for Fulham before the goal. Sessegnon with an air shot 6 yards out afterwards. Brian's ball in for Mitrovic, whose header was saved by Leno, as Arsenal again come forward inside the penalty area. And this time it's Socrates' shot that's blocked away for a corner, Adrian. I mean, listen, Leno doesn't really inspire much confidence there. The Mitrovic header from 6 yards out didn't look the hardest to save, but he made a bit of a meal of it, getting down on his knees on the goal line. Arsenal have taken the corner quickly on the far side, need to get the ball inside the penalty area, which they've done. It's over Rico, put out play on the inside by Cyrus Christie. Arsenal still lead 1-0, but you do fancy they could fill their boots here today.
Well, they could. I mean, it could be 3-2. It could be 5-1. There's been so many chances in this game so far, but Arsenal are the only side that have taken just the one of them, and they lead 1-0. What amazes me about this is, I mean, it's New Year's Day, and when Arsenal are on the attack, and I mean close to goal on the attack, then there's a little bit of noise. Other than that, it's so quiet.
Well, this Highbury used to be known as the Highbury Library, and it was known as that for a reason, because it was quiet there. This stadium, you know, it holds not double what Highbury held, but it holds a lot more than what Highbury held. But yet, there is that feeling that the crowd here. I mean, listen, I mentioned to you earlier that I know somebody who has a season ticket in one of the boxes here, or one of the corporate areas, and how much they pay for that ticket. It's an inordinate amount of money. You know, to come watch football here is the most expensive in Europe. And the fans want to be entertained, and they're only going to get up and down and jump and scream if they're being entertained. If they're not being entertained, then they're going to sit back in their comfy seats. They're the tour beforehand. The bloke proudly gives the tour. The bloke proudly gave the tour, said, every seat here is padded. It's too comfortable, this ground. It is. It's so comfortable. I had 4 slices of cake before the game.
That's enough already. It is enough, actually, looking at it. Let me tell you some more goals that have gone in. 1-0 to Arsenal here. Fulham got a free kick in a good position. We'll get to that in a second. Coventry lead 1-0 at Wickham. Connor Chaplin's penalty. Back-to-back wins for Coventry, looking to make it 3 in a row. Doncaster are going to win. They're 3-0 up already on Rochdale. John Marquis, their top scorer. Cheltenham 2 up at Yeovil. Connor Thomas's penalty. And in the National League, Solihull Moors lead managerless Chesterfield 1-0. Jermaine Hilton on 36. So free kick for Fulham. Chance here, Ian Abrahams.
Dead central, 25-30 yards out. Schürrle is over it. He's going to hit it right-footed. There are 4-5 in the Arsenal wall. Free kick given away by Socrates. Actually, Tom Kearney's now lining up maybe to hit it left-footed, so it could be right-footed or left-footed for Leno to have to save here. Guendouzi looks like he's about to start 100 metres from behind the wall. I don't know if he's going to charge something down or he's doing his shoelaces up. I don't quite know what Guendouzi is doing there, but referee Graham Scott's blown the whistle. Going to be Schürrle right-footed. Going to be over the top of the crossbar. Going to be 1-0 Arsenal.
It is still 1-0 to the Arsenal. We've got a goal at the Bet365. Simon Humphries.
Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1. Famara Jeju in the penalty area, completely unmarked, downward header. Jack Butland, absolutely no chance, and the boos are already starting to ring around the Bet365 stadium. You can just see it coming. They've survived early pressure from Stoke City. They've just had to make a change as well. Adam Webster's gone off with a head injury, replaced by Bailey Wright, and within 30 seconds of that substitute happening, Bristol City have taken the lead. Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1.
And a goal in League Two where Exeter have gone 1-0 up. It's Jonathan Fort who's got the goal. Exeter leads 1-0 away to Swindon Town. It's a penalty as well from Jonathan Fort, and there's a second goal. No, headed wide by Aubameyang. For all the world, it looked like it had gone in.
A minute or two ago, I've got to tell the listeners this, I thought Arsenal should have gone 2-0 up when Kolasinac didn't score. I said, how did he miss that? He said, didn't put it in the back of the net, Adrian, didn't you? You said that to me.
You got to hit the net.
What's Aubameyang got to do there?
He's got to hit the net.
He didn't.
Went wide.
Lovely ball in by Iwobi again, though.
It's still, he gets a lot of criticism, Iwobi, doesn't he? Flipping it.
I don't understand why.
I think he's all right. Let's go to the DW. Goal there, Derek Clark.
It's Wigan Athletic 0, Sheffield United 1, and it's come against the run of play, but they won't mind about that because David McGoldrick has put the blades in front. Here was a corner kick whipped in, shot initially by Duffy that Christian Walton parried into the path of the blade striker, and he lashed the ball into the roof of the net. It's Wigan 0, Sheffield United 1.
The goals as they go in. Let's get a goal at Villa Park as well. Tom Ross.
What a goal it was as well. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, and Luke Freeman picked the ball, raced through and just smashed it top right hand corner, sent his bench, Steve McLaren and the fans into ecstasy. Tremendous strike. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
There was unlucky Freeman not to score with what would have been an absolute worldie on Saturday in their 0-0 draw with Reading. Came very close. He's gone even closer. In fact, he scored 1-1. He's got the equaliser, Luke Freeman. Elsewhere, Curtis Guthrie's been sent off for Stevenage in League 2. Plymouth have gone 2-0 up against Oxford United. Ruben Lamiris with the second. Let's go to the City Ground. Latest there. TalkSport's Dave Rowe.
Still Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0. The game being dominated by Leeds, and all apart from the scoreline. They've been behind since the 6th minute, but since about 15 they've really been on top in terms of possession and creating chances, having efforts on and off target. The closest they came in the last 10 minutes or so, a corner from Douglas down the right and flicked on by Alioski at the near post, and just before Kemar Roof could apply the finishing touch, it was clipped away from him and out for a second corner which Forest defended. There was a chance on the breakaway for Forest, with Murphy doing well to hold the ball up against Pontus Jansson. He raced towards the penalty area. Jansson got back well to make a saving challenge, but as things stand, the home side will be delighted if they can get into the break here in front, because they have been under increasing pressure. The game is live on TalkSport 2. It's still Forest 1, Leeds 0.
Latest at Griffin Park, Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
Yeah, it's Brentford 0, Norwich 0, a half chance for Norwich. Todd Cantwell put Timu Pukki, the leading scorer. He scampered away, but goalkeeper Dan Bentley raced out of the box to clear with his feet. Alongside me, Mark Bircham. Mark, Norwich are second in the table, and apart from that half chance, is it fair to say they've been rather disappointing this afternoon so far?
Yeah, definitely. Brentford controlling possession. They're playing five at the back, so the wing backs are up there, as I said, controlling possession, but Norwich are dangerous on that counter. They, as you said, Pukki on the shoulder of the defenders looking to get him behind, and he's nearly got in a couple of times. Maybe it'd be fertile lucky for him.
And Brentford changed their formation 3 games ago, didn't they? They went to 3 at the back with the wing backs, and they've looked a lot more solid. They're 3 games unbeaten with that formation.
Yeah, definitely. Before, Brentford was always 4-3-3. They had the wide men really wide, and they've gone for it. They've got full-backs looking like they're comfortable that way, all blocked out. Oh, they nearly had a goal there, and Norwich from a clearance being shut down. But yeah, no, Rico Henry, the left wing back, looks very comfortable, and he's caused a bit of problems down the left side for Brentford.
So it's still that goal by Julien Janvier that separates the sides. It's Brentford 1, Norwich 0.
We've got a red back at the City Ground. Dave Rowe.
Still Forest 1, Leeds 0, but Leeds are down to 10 men. It's Calvin Phillips who has seen red. He's seen a straight red for a challenge on Adeline Guardiola. It was a ball that's certainly worth going for, worth trying to win, as the two of them tried to go for it. They both went in very strongly, but it looks like Phillips went in over the ball, and the referee, Darren England, had no hesitation about showing Calvin Phillips a straight red can't. So the lead is behind here and down to 10 men. There's commentary on TalkSport 2. It's Forest 1, Leeds 0.
Of course I cursed him. Oldham lead, Notts County 1-0. Thomas Hamer with the goal. Southend 1, Gillingham 0. Sam Manton. Let's go to Pride Park on TalkSport. Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
It's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0. Stats-wise, 60-40 possession in favour of Derby. Only 2 shots for the Rams, 1 on target. That went in from Harry Wilson early on. Middlesbrough have had 7 attempts on goal, but not 1 on target yet, Alvin Martin.
Well, I think the game's turned. You know, they had a really good start, Derby. Looked like they were going to get out the traps quick, get the goal, and then maybe add to it. That doesn't look like happening in the last sort of 10 or 15. Middlesbrough have responded really well, especially down this right-hand side. They've looked like got a bit of penetration. Problem with Derby is they've squeezed up here in Middlesbrough, and they haven't got any height up front, so they haven't got an out ball. They've got to play through the segments of the pitch really short, and they're making it very difficult for them, Middlesbrough.
4 minutes added time here at the end of the first half. They've got a free kick, Derby, over on the far side. It's a real attacking opportunity. Ball whipped in. It's headed away by Danny Bart, who wasn't in the initial starting lineup, but Aidan Flint got injured in the warm-up. It's Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Into the last minute of the 45 here at the Emirates. Arsenal leading 1-0. Macclesfield have equalised at home to Tranmere. Kobe Arthur 1-1. Let's go to Ewood Park on TalkSport. Don McGuinness.
Rovers 0, West Brom 0. Just a couple of minutes to the break. Good chances for Rovers. Dack has just gone close. Johnston spilled the shot. Graham just couldn't quite get on the end of that. Before that, at the other end, West Brom have gone close. A good header from Dawson from a free kick. And there's just been 1 booking so far in the game. Adarabayo on loan from Manchester City for bringing down Armstrong. It's Rovers 0, West Brom 0.
And the goal at the Medeski, Nigel Pearson.
Right on the stroke of half-time, it's Reading 0, Swansea City 3. Mike van der Hoorn is the man who's got the goal. Ball whipped in from the right-hand side. He slid the ball home. Again, poor defending from Reading. And in Jose Gomez's first home game in charge, it's going horribly, horribly wrong. Reading 0, Swansea 3.
Well, nightmare 18 months for all Reading fans. And it's going on and on and on. 3-0 down by half-time. Let me give you the latest scores. Arsenal still lead 1-0. We're into 1 minute added time, so half-time whistle is imminent. Earlier, Leicester were 1-0 winners at Everton. In the Championship, Villa 1, QPR 1. Brentford lead Norwich 1-0. If you don't hear your game, it's goalless. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0. Hull 1, Bolton 0. Ipswich 1, Millwall 0. Forest 1, 10-man Leeds 0. Swansea 3 up at Reading. Sheffield Wednesday lead Birmingham 1-0. Bristol City 1 up at Stoke. And Sheffield United lead 1-0 at Wigan. In League 1, Sunderland lead at Blackpool. That's half-time, actually. Bradford 2-0 up against 10-man Accrington. Charlton 2, Walsall 0. Doncaster 3, Rochdale 0. Scunthorpe lead at Peterborough 1-0. That's half-time as well. Plymouth 2, Oxford United 0. Portsmouth, the leaders, are 1-0 up against Wimbledon. Coventry lead at Wickham 1-0. And Southend 1, Gillingham 0. A goal at the New York Stadium, Derm Tanner.
Well, that's a surprise. Rotherham leading Preston by 1-0. Almost the last kick of the first half. We're playing time added on. And Will Vaught's a thunderbolt free kick from 24 yards out. They've barely got anywhere over the halfway line. It's all been Preston, but right on the stroke of half-time. Seconds still to play. Rotherham leading Preston by 1-0.
Yep, goals as they go in on TalkSport, and the half-time whistle has just gone. Players are walking off here at the Emirates, rounding up the first 45 for us. Ian Abrahams.
Get the bunting out. Arsenal have finally done it, Adrian. First game of 2019, they lead a game at half-time in the Premier League. Truth, they should be actually out of sight here. The only goal on 25 minutes, Wobie's ball in from the left-hand side for Granit Xhaka to run between the Marchand and Ream, who look like statues, and score from 7 yards out. Xhaka should have added a second, but for a block from Ream. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should have had a couple. First after 90 seconds when he blazed over from 6 yards out. The second when he headed wide, and Iwobi cross, also from 6 yards out. Lacazette was denied by Rico, also from 6 yards out. Guendouzi was denied by Rico as well. And the other end, though, 3 really good chances for Fulham. One at 0-0 when Sessegnon raced through to a Kearney ball but shot wide at the far post. The second also at 0-0 when Schürrle's ball across and Sessegnon 6 yards out produced an air shot when he should have scored. And then after that as well, Mitrovic with a header from 6 yards out, saved by Leno. All in all, it's been an entertaining first half with lots of chances, and quite how we've only got 1 goal is beyond me. Arsenal 1, Fulham 0. The Gunners finally lead at half-time, mate.
Yep, Arsenal 1-0 up, but Ryan Sessegnon guilty of a couple of bad misses in that first half. What have Fulham got in the second half? We shall see. That's the only 3 o'clock kick-off in the Premier League. Remember, Leicester were winners at Everton by 1-0 earlier. So let's go round the grounds in the Sky Bet Championship for half-times. First stop, Villa Park. TalkSport's Tom Ross.
Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Tammy Abraham's 15th goal of the season put them 1 up. He headed home a corner from Hurahan. Coolly put it past the keeper. But then came Queen's Park Rangers' best spell. They came alive and levelled it with a fantastic strike from Luke Freeman. It really was magnificent. 25 yards, top right-hand corner. They've had other opportunities as well. Freeman had already gone close while Villa had hit the bar. Great game at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Half-time whistle's just gone at Ewood Park as well. Talk Sports, Don McGuinness.
Where it is, Rovers 0, West Brom 0. It was a decent enough though for a goalless game. Both sides having plenty of chances. Rovers getting off to the better start. Bradley Dack, who's back in the side, creating a chance for his mate up front, Graham. He couldn't take it. Good save from Sam Johnston. Graham then went close with a header from a Reed cross from the right-hand side. Again, decent work from West Brom's keeper. After that, West Brom took control after the mid-stage of the half. Barnes with 2 chances, forcing Ray into 2 saves. Dawson went close with a header. Dack ended the half strongly though, creating a chance. A good spilled effort though from Sam Johnston. Graham couldn't capitalise, so at the break it is all square, very even. It is Rovers 0, West Brom 0.
Let's head to Pride Park for half-time there. Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
Not quite half-time yet. We're still in first half stoppage time. I can't imagine that the referee is going to add on much more time. We just had a little stoppage actually. Jack Marriott, the subject of a challenge from George Saville, who we assume got a yellow card for that. The half-time whistle has now gone. There were some handbags after that incident, and George Friend was involved and he got a booking. I just wonder whether there might have been another player as well who got cautioned in that. Dream start for the Rams, scoring inside 60 seconds. Marriott, the match winner in the comeback success at Norwich, turned provider this time, playing in Harry Wilson, who took 1 touch before striding into the box and unleashing a powerful left foot shot past Randolph. 6 goals in his last 9 games and 10 for the season for the Liverpool loanee. Borough responded well after the early setback. They created several opportunities, got into dangerous areas, but without actually managing a shot on target. As it stands, the two sides are swapping places in 5th and 6th. The thoughts of Alvin Martin.
I think it got a little bit frustrating after a great start by Derby. They weren't able to build on it. You've got to give credit to Middlesbrough for that, because they actually set their stall out. They come again, they squeezed high up the pitch, and they haven't got really a lot of height, as I've said. Up front, they've got to be really pragmatic in how they work the ball into Waghorn and Marriott. But in truth, I think that Middlesbrough finished certainly stronger in that last half an hour of that half. And I think Frank Lampard will be delighted to get his team in at 1-0 and maybe have a little chat to them, because they've got to be a little bit more patient. They've certainly got to get Mount and Wilson on the ball, and the only way they can do that is by taking a few more risks further up the pitch. But at the moment, I think that Tony Pulis will be in there saying, OK, we're still very much in this game.
Half-time at Pride Park, Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0.
And let's head for half-time at Griffin Park as well. Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
Yeah, it's Brentford 1, Norwich 0. A good first half from the Bees. Some attractive passing football on that goal. On 23 minutes, Ben Rama clipped over a corner from the left. Julien Janvier got the final touch from close range. As for second place, Norwich, very disappointing. Just a low shot by Mario Vrancic across the face of goal. Alongside me, Mark Bircham. Mark, what's your assessment at half-time?
Brentford controlled the half. They're passing the ball. They're getting their wing backs forward, getting crosses in the box. Malpai looks dangerous with his movement. The only really inkling Norwich had was maybe a penalty against Pookie, and then Pookie looks dangerous on the counter-attack as he's on the shoulders spinning in behind. But as you said, Brentford neat passing movements and patterns and fully deserved the 1-0 lead.
So it's Julien Janvier's 3rd goal of the season. It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0.
Let's get half-time at the City ground. It's been eventful. Dave Rowe.
Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0. You wonder if it could be the under-pressure Aitor Karanka's day. His team have largely been dominated by Leeds, but 3 big moments have gone firmly in their favour. First, the early goal, terrible back pass by Adam Forshaw, pounced on by Jack Colback, who rounded the keeper to score. Then as Leeds got a grip, Jack Harrison latched onto a long ball and was taken out by Jack Robinson. Yellow card shown when it could have easily been red. The free kick was clipped just wide by Barry Douglas, and it was Leeds who then went down to 10 men. Calvin Phillips showed a straight red card for a bad challenge on Adeline Guardiola. To be fair, it was nearly 2-0 shortly after, only for Peacock Farrell to make a fabulous save, denying Joe Lolly after another mistake by Forshaw, who's now playing at centre-back. So can the 10 men of Leeds fight back in the second half? That'll be live on TalkSport 2. At the break, it's Forest 1, Leeds 0.
Let's get half-time at the DW. Derek Clark.
Yeah, half-time, Wigan Athletic 0, Sheffield United 1. A David McGoldrick strike is the difference at the break. The goal came 5 minutes before half-time. Christian Walton parrying a Mark Duffy shot straight into the path of the Republic of Ireland international, who lashed the ball into the back of the net. Ollie Norwood also came close to making it 2-0 in stoppage time. He struck the post from the edge of the area. Wigan really should have opened the scoring though in 33 minutes when Dean Henderson parried a Gavin Massey shot right into the path of former blade Lee Evans, but he fired wide from close range. It was an absolute sitter. Half-time, Wigan 0, Sheffield United 1.
Half-time at Hillsborough as well. Simon Grace and Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 0, and the rejuvenated home team are clearly on top here, deserving of the lead. Birmingham second best, I think, in most areas, relying on a strong back line to limit the damage to Stephen Fletcher's goal midway through the half, which was a superb left foot shot on the turn following a free kick, and an earlier missed chance by Michael Hector as Wednesday pressed. Not many clear openings in a tight game. Birmingham relying on a free kick late in the half, which saw Lucas Djutkiewicz fire just off target. Simon Grayson alongside me. I don't know about you, but what typified the turnaround in Sheffield Wednesday for me was one particular challenge from Sam Hutchinson, full-blooded, old-fashioned, bringing the crowd to their feet.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. He's just come back into the team recently, and like you said, that epitomises what Sheffield Wednesday have been today. They've been very competitive, winning every second ball. Birmingham really have not got going. We've got Barry Bannon, who's probably the best player on the pitch, making things happen with his short range of passing, his long range of passing. So, yeah, I think what's happened is with Lee, he's really galvanised the players. They're playing and putting 100% into every challenge, every run, every block. And we've not really seen Birmingham do anything, have we, really?
No, very poor. The atmosphere around this ground has dramatically changed. Thanks, Simon. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 0.
Right, half-time at the Bet365. TalkSport, Simon Humphries.
Well, it's Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1. Stoke should have been in front on 6 minutes. They were awarded a penalty when Martin Zindi was brought down by Famara Jeju, but Benica Fobi saw his spot kick saved by Mayampai, diving away to his left-hand side. The Potters then dominated. Ince twice had shots saved. Etebo went close, but the visitors were in front on 39 minutes with their first shot on goal. Hunt's cross from the right-hand side, and Jeju with his downward header nodding in past Jack Butland for his 7th goal of the season. Fobi then had a header cleared off the line by substitute Bailey Wright on for Adam Webster, who suffered a clash of heads early doors, and in stoppage time Mayampai again coming to the visitors' rescue, keeping out Joe Allen's header from close range. Half-time, Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1.
Half-time at the Medeski Stadium. TalkSport's Nigel Pearson.
Reading 0, Swansea City 3, and the first home game in charge for Royals boss Jose Gomez isn't going to plan. Ollie McBurney gave Swansea the lead in the 2nd minute of the match. Header out of reach of the keeper after ball in from Norton on the right-hand side. The lead was doubled on 29. Connor Roberts touched home from a scramble on the right-hand side, and Celino with a chip to Fur. His cross from McBurney touched onto Roberts. He did the rest, and then right on the stroke of half-time, Mike van der Hoorn slid home at the far post after a Grimes ball in from the right-hand side. Haven't seen a lot from Reading in terms of goal-scoring opportunities. When they get the ball, they play side-to-side, square balls. They're not really incisive enough going forward. And I'll tell you what, Gomez doesn't have a reputation for staying at clubs too long. Much more of this, he won't be here much longer either. It's Reading 0, Swansea 3.
Let's get half-time at the KCOM. TalkSport's Ollie Pimlett.
Hull City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. The goal coming on the half-hour mark for the home side. Jared Bowen pulled the ball back to Kamil Grzycki. His initial shot was blocked, but he lashed home the rebound into the roof of the net. Wanderers, though, will feel they should be level at the break. On the 42nd minute, Jonathan Grounds on the overlap pulled the ball back to Clayton Donaldson, the former Tigers forward, but he could only shoot wide from 10 yards with the goal gaping. Hull looking good for 5 consecutive wins. It's Hull City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0.
And half-time whistle's gone at the New York Stadium. Dome Tanner.
Rotherham United 1, Preston North End 0. All is forgiven as far as the Rotherham fans are concerned. Having endured a woeful 44 minutes, they then witnessed Will Vaux produce a thunderous free kick, just too fast and far too accurate for Rudd in the Preston goal. Preston had plenty of chances to take the lead. Burke had a point-blank effort smothered by Rodak, who was busy keeping out Gallagher and Burkhausen during the first half as well. The talk around here is about that free kick, and the Preston fans are shaking their heads. It's half-time, Rotherham 1, Preston 0.
Matchday Live on Talk Sport. Half-time classifieds. Premier League.
Arsenal 1, Fulham 0. Cardiff Spurs is at 5:30, and a result from earlier: Everton 0, Leicester 1.
Sky Bet Championship.
Aston Villa 1, QPR 1, Blackburn 0, West Brom 0, Brentford 1, Norwich 0, Derby 1, Middlesbrough 0, Hull City 1, Bolton 0, Ipswich 1, Millwall 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds 0, Reading 0, Swansea 3, Rotherham 1, Preston 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham 0, Stoke 0, Bristol City 1, Wigan 0, Sheffield United 1.
Sky Bet League 1.
Blackpool 0, Sunderland 1, Bradford 2, Accrington 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Burton 0, Charlton 2, Walsall 0, Doncaster 3, Rochdale 0, Luton 0, Barnsley 0, Peterborough 0, Scunthorpe 1, Plymouth 2, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, Shrewsbury 0, Fleetwood 0, Southend 1, Gillingham 0, Wickham 0, Coventry 1.
Sky Bet League 2.
Bury 0, Crewe 1, Crawley 0, Colchester 0, Forest Green 1, Northampton 0. A result: Grimsby 0, Mansfield 1, Lincoln 0, Port Vale 0, Macclesfield 1, Tranmere 1, Milton Keynes 3, Cambridge United 0, Morecambe 0, Carlisle 1, Oldham 1, Notts County 0, Stevenage 0, Newport 0, Swindon 0, Exeter 1, Yeovil 0, Cheltenham 2.
Vanarama National League.
AFC Fylde 0, Barrow 0, Aldershot 0, Maidenhead 0, Barnet 0, Boreham Wood 0, Braintree 0, Ebbsfleet 2, Bromley Sutton United's at 7:45 tonight, Eastleigh 0, Havant and Waterlooville 0, FC Halifax Town 0, Harrogate Town 1, Hartlepool 1, Gateshead 0, Leyton Orient 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Maidstone 0, Dover 0, Salford 1, Wrexham 0, Solihull Moors 1, Chesterfield 0.
Step up to the Oki for exclusive coverage of the 2019 PDC World Darts Championship live tonight from 7.
That is something special from dancing Dimitri Vandenberg.
Talk Sport hits the bullseye with live and exclusive commentary of the final of the PDC World Darts Championship direct from Alexandra Palace.
Raises the roof of the Alexandra Palace.
The 2019 PDC World Darts Championship live on Talk Sport.
It's time to peel yourself off the sofa and find an even comfier one. The IKEA winter sale is now on, with an extra 10% off sale items for IKEA family members. Search IKEA for more details. Sale now on. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
PlusNet care about their customers, so they'll let you know when your new fixed price contract is up and offer you a personal account review, so you can get the package that's right for you. They're so proud, they commissioned the best jingle writer in the business to create this little ditty. PlusNet care for you with a personal account review. Now that's a jingle, my friends. I sound all right. PlusNet will do you proud. For customers taking a new broadband contract, fixed price applies to broadband and line rental monthly price only, terms apply.
Who's flashing the cash? Who's a real big spender?
They are completely in control of this game.
And who's struggling to make any signings at all? The summer transfer window was a colossal spendfest, with teams in the Premier League splashing out over £1.2 billion. Talk Sport is the place to get all the deals as they happen, with regular on-air updates throughout the day and in-depth analysis of all the moves. The January transfer window on Talk Sport.
TalkSport.
The radio station that's wondering whether it's justified to make listening to more sport on the radio
whenever humanly possible
one of its New Year resolutions.
Still though, give it a try.
New Year on Talk Sport. Bringing you every goal from every game all season long. Matchday live on Talk Sport.
Players are back out here at the Emirates for the second half. Arsenal lead 1-0. We're yet to kick off. So let's just go back to the early game in the Premier League. Everton 0, Leicester 1. Jamie Vardy's goal 13 minutes into the second half after a couple of Everton errors. The difference between the two sides. Well, let's hear from both managers in a moment. Claude Puel. First, the Everton boss, Marco Silva.
Disappointing result, poor performance. To be honest, poor performance. Our scared. When you play and when we in football we lose, the most simple thing is simple pass, mobility, and we lost since the first side this type of things. So again, first half A lot of confusion in the game. Even our opponent, both teams they cannot connect 3, 4, 5 passes between, but we didn't play in a normal way. In our defensive organization, a lot of mistakes, easy pass we lost, and of course when you lose the simple things in football like mobility and like passing well, it's impossible. You play well and created the chance.
Of course, after our loss at home against Cardiff, we said after the game it was important to come here away against Everton and to try to recover 3 points. It was a tough game, of course, because we played a busy period with a lot of games in a short times. But it was important, I think, with our togetherness mentality, organization, to put a good block and to find quality after with the start of the ball.
There you go, that's the two managers after Everton were beaten home by Leicester. We've got a penalty at the Medeski. Nigel Pearson.
Swansea lead 3-0 and have a penalty here at Reading, and it is Ollie McBurney who's going to step up to the spot once again for the second time today, looking to score. McBurney steps up and puts it in the back of the net with Yakola going the wrong way. McBurney's second goal of the afternoon, and now there are boos all around from the Reading fans here. They're being torn apart, but the Swansea City fans away to our right, absolute jubilation over there. Rowledge brought down in the penalty area, and McBurney with his second goal of the afternoon. Early stages of the second half. Listen to this: Reading 0, Swansea 4.
Well, Nigel, this is let's just put this into perspective, because Swansea 1 point from 3 Christmas games, and they are absolutely destroying Reading. I know it's not going to be a full house at the Madstad, not by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure those home fans who are there, what is their reaction?
They booed them off at half-time, Adrian. There were boos just as that ball hit the back of the net then as well. I reckon this stadium is about half full this afternoon, probably around 11,000, 12,000. And the Reading fans deserve a lot better than this. And I do know that several fans, many Reading fans indeed, were completely shocked by the appointment of Gomez. Relative unknown around here, of course. Many people thought that Graham Murty was in line, Phil Parkinson perhaps, but they've brought in Gomez, and quite clearly it's not had any effect. They got that goal astray at the weekend, but they are shocking here today. They're being torn apart.
Yeah, dreadful. Reading 4-0 down 3 minutes into the second half at home to Swansea City. Now then, we've got a goal at the DW. Derek Clark.
It's a fantastic start for Sheffield United. It's Wigan 0, Sheffield United 2. It all stemmed from a Wigan corner. It was collected by Dean Henderson. He then launched the ball upfield towards Billy Sharp. He did well to hold the ball up. He then fed in Mark Duffy. Duffy in on goal, slid the ball past Christian Walton into the back of the net. Wigan 0, Sheffield United 2.
Blades are flying right now. Oldham lead Notts County 2-0. Notts County bottom of the Football League. Peter Clark with the goal 2 minutes after the restart. And Chesterfield in the National League without a manager, but they've equalised at Solihull Moors. Marc-Antoine Fortuné has got that on 47 minutes. Arsenal still lead here at the Emirates in Abrahams.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes in the second half. Arsenal 1, Fulham 0. The goal on 25 scored by Granit Xhaka. Here's Lacazette though trying to find Aubameyang, but the offside flag's up. Only chance of the second half, Adrian, was a corner that was headed by Mitrovic and saved on his line by Leno. Arsenal did make a change at the break. I thought Granit Xhaka, who picked up a slight knock before half-time, would go off when I saw Lucas Torreira come on, but instead it's Mustafi. So I think Arsenal now playing a flat back four with Xhaka just playing in front of them. To be fair, they don't need so many defensive players on the pitch, because I think if they take their chances, they're going to outscore Fulham today. But at the moment, just slender 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Fulham have they've certainly got to do a little bit more, and I think it's too early in the second half to see exactly what Ranieri might have tweaked at half-time. But as we look at them now, it looks like they're playing sort of two up front, Sessegnon and Mitrovic. The way they're shaping up, whether that's how it pans out as the game goes on, but certainly Sessegnon looking very central there.
He is at the moment, yeah. Certainly Schürrle tries to catch the ball, but he won't keep it in play. I think he's going to maintain it as a 3. I think Schürrle will still be in advance of the rest of the midfield, but you can see why Fulham are struggling, Adrian. I mean, they just can't keep goals out, and they've gave up how many chances in the first half? Half a dozen, maybe more. Really good chances that, you know, a side in good form and in good confidence would have absolutely taken. And I don't know, Aubameyang looks like he might score today. 1-0 to Arsenal.
Goal at Hillsborough. Alan Biggs.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 1. Surprise around Hillsborough. Birmingham making a good start to the second half, almost a goal out of nothing. Shay Adams, prolific up front, has got it for them. It was a long ball headed on by strike partner Lukas Djukovic, and Adams with a bit of pace just got behind the defence and finished really impeccably. Kieran Westwood had absolutely no chance there. So an equaliser. Simon Grayson, I didn't see it coming, did you?
No, but they did start the game well. They started with a bit more intensity to the game. Even when it was going out for a throw-in, you could see players running for the ball, getting onto it. Like you said, it was a long ball into the box, flicked on, and Adams had got the other side, I think it was of Tom Lees, and held him off, fired it into the back of the net. So a good start from Birmingham, because they had to do a lot more than they did in the first half.
Yeah, following just one change at the break. Conor Mahoney coming on for Jacques Magoma. So it's all square at Hillsborough. Thanks, Simon. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham 1.
Remember, Ipswich lead Millwall 1-0 in a battle at the bottom. Millwall made a change at half-time. James Meredith went off, and the veteran goalscorer Steve Morrison came on. What's going on at Pride Park early second half? Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
It's still Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 0. 2.5 minutes gone in this second half. Harry Wilson's very early goal, the difference between the sides. Just some clarification of what happened at the end of the half. A yellow card for Saville. We thought Friend got a booking as well, but nobody from the Borough camp seemed to think that he did. It certainly looked that way. What will the two managers have been saying at half-time, Alvin Martin? Because Borough certainly gave it a go after conceding that early goal, but no shots on target.
Yeah, I think Frank would have been saying, we've got to show a little bit more composure. We've got to be taking more care of the ball, get a better share of the possession. But I think Tony would have been really pleased with the way they ended the half. The last 20 minutes was theirs. If they can pick up where they left off, then he'll feel that they've got goals in him. Look, it's a young team, this Derby team. It's full of exuberance and it's full of ability. But
nil.
Goal at Ewood, Don McGuinness.
Blackburn Rovers 1, West Brom 0. Charlie Mulgrew, the Rovers captain, has scored directly from a corner. It's deceived everybody and nestled in there. Rovers have been on top in the opening stages of the second half, and they have the lead direct from the corner. Charlie Mulgrew, Rovers 1, West Brom 0.
Northampton equaliser, Forest Green, Sam Foley on 50. Walsall have pulled one back at Charlton with a trail 2-1. Andy Cook has got that, and in the National League as well, Solihull Moors have gone 2-1 up against Chesterfield. We've got a goal at the DW, Derek Clark.
Sheffield United are absolutely ripping Wigan to shreds here. It's Wigan 0, Sheffield United 3. Fantastic move it was. To ball played over to McGoldrick. He played a lovely, delicious square ball over across the 6-yard box. Keeper couldn't get there, but Billy Sharp could cover his 220th senior goal in football. It's Wigan Athletic 0, Sheffield United 3.
The goals as they go in on TalkSport. Let's go to the City Ground. What's happening there? Dave Rowe.
Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 0. Forest on the attack early in this second half. I think they may have just won a corner over on the far side. Yes, they have. Second half only 3 minutes old, because the first half went on for a long time indeed due to several injuries and decisions. The red card on Calvin Phillips, definitely a red card, no question about it. Took a heavy first touch and then went in late. But no doubt also that Forest should have been down to 10 men earlier in the game. Jack Robinson so lucky to escape with a yellow for his challenge when Harrison was going through. Leeds have made a change. Harrison, who was impressive in that first half, he's now been replaced by Jack Clark early in the second. It's live on TalkSport 2. It's still Forest 1, Leeds 0.
It's Matchday Live on TalkSport. Let's go to Griffin Park. Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0. Just one early chance in this second period, with Ben Rama's sizzling shot for Brentford charged down. At the other end, Norwich have won a couple of set plays, a couple of corners which have been cleared. Mark Bircham alongside me. What do Norwich in second place have to do to get back into this game?
They have to get hold of the ball and start keeping it in Brentford's half, really. Start of the second half's been very scrappy by both teams. Misplaced passes, crosses and corners hitting the first men. There's not been much quality here. So Norwich need to get on the ball more, but get more possession in the Brentford half.
Can you see somebody like Jordan Rhodes coming on as a substitute for Norwich?
Yeah, I can see him coming on right now.
Yeah, there is a substitution. Jordan Rhodes, in fact, coming on for Norwich as we speak. Brentford 1, Norwich 0.
Another goal here at the Emirates. Is it all over, Ian Abrams?
It could well be all over. It's Alexander Lacazette who scored. It's a lovely team goal, Adrian. I mean, Arsenal in the past have been accused of wanting to walk the boys to back. They all started with a throw on the near touchline, the Arsenal left-hand side. They kept the ball alive. In the end, it was played by Kolasinac into the penalty area, and when it was laid back to Lacazette in and around the penalty spot, I'll tell you what, he absolutely couldn't miss, and he lashed the ball home. I accused Xhaka in the first half of trying to caress it home. There was no caressing here. It was just pure power and force from Lacazette, and the celebration afterwards showed that what it meant to him. 2-0 to Arsenal now. Xhaka in the first half, Lacazette in the second, and you would say that's probably enough for it to be game over.
Yeah, you would say that they're trying to copy the Spurs handshakes. It's not good, is it? But
I got told off by your producer in Drive for having to go at Spurs handshake.
Quite right. Here's the thing. Tip for Fulham's defenders: don't leave Lacazette unmarked near the penalty spot. It's just ridiculous. It's embarrassing, really, from Fulham. They're all heading towards the goal line, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to stop it on the goal line." No, actually, try defending. That'd be a better idea, wouldn't it?
Can I just say that Iwobi was involved, so too was Aubameyang, and in the end, the pullback for Lacazette, who finished it with some aplomb. 2-0 to Arsenal. Fulham just brought on Fosu Mensah, by the way, as a change.
Yep, Arsenal 2, Fulham 0. Goal at Pride Park. Jeff Peters.
We have the equaliser here. It's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 1. A lovely goal. Cross from the left-hand side from George Friend. Terrific cross. And Jordan Hugill with a powerful header past Scott Carson to get Borough back on level terms. Alvin Martin.
Well, it's an excellent header and a great ball in. And what he does here, George Friend, is what not many fullbacks do these days. He actually caught it on the half volley on the edge of the penalty area, and he just helped it into an area where he expected somebody to be able to attack it, and attack it he did, Hugill. It's a free header. Frank Lampard won't be happy with his defenders, but certainly the header was dispatched brilliantly. 1-1. I did say that they look more likely to get the next goal.
Sixth goal of the season. It is Derby 1, Middlesbrough 1.
And a goal at the City Ground, Dave Rowe.
And the 10 men are level. Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 1, and the substitute Jack Clark has picked up his second goal in recent weeks. Scored at Villa recently as well, coming in from the left-hand side. Well, this time he's coming from the right, and it was Kemar Roof on the edge of the area who started the move off. He found Mateus Klick. He may have shot himself, but elected to play it right instead, and Clark came in with the shot, and it's rather gone through Costel Pantilimon. I think the keeper may have saved it, but he didn't, and Jack Clark has got Leeds level, even though they're playing with 10 men. It's live on TalkSport 2, all square. Forest 1, Leeds 1.
And a goal at Ewood Park, Tom McGuinness.
Rovers 2, West Brom 0. 58 minutes played, a great counter-attack from Rovers. Armstrong on the left-hand side spotted the run of Dack, who had Graham in support, but it was all about Bradley Dack. Took it on himself. Just 2-on-1 it was for Rovers, but the finish was sublime from Dack, and Rovers well in control. Mulgrew for the second time this season scoring directly from a corner, and Dack now makes it Rovers 2, West Brom 0.
Goal at Villa Park, Tom Ross.
Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2, and it's Eberechi Eze who's finished off a great counter-attack from Queen's Park Rangers. Villa doing all the pressing, a counter-attack down the right, crossed over, he was unmarked and smashed it into the net. But we've had 5 minutes of stoppage when Codger got booked for catching the keeper as they both chased for the ball. The keeper needed 5 minutes of treatment, the Queen's Park Rangers keeper, and he got so heated, Tammy Abrahams was arguing with him and the referee about it as well. What a game it is here. Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Bury equaliser home to Crewe 1-1. Keelan Lavery. Scunthorpe 2-0 up at Peterborough. Happy New Year, fellow posh fans. Let's go to the Bet365. Simon Humphries.
Where it's still Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1 for Maurice Jeju's goal 6 minutes from half-time. Still separates the two sides. Stoke, as you would expect, have been piling the pressure on, but without really threatening Miampa. And again, they're getting held up in midfield, not getting the ball quickly enough forward, which is starting to frustrate slowly and slowly more the supporters inside the ground as McLean drills it across, straight though at the keeper's hands. We've played 30 minutes in this second half. It remains Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1.
A couple of National League goals. Eastleigh have taken the lead against Havant and Waterlooville. Rita Johnson has got the goal. Salford City 2 now, Wrexham 0. Rory Gaffney with the second. Let's go to the KCOM in the Championship. TalkSport's Ollie Pimlock.
Hull City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Still a 30th minute goal by Kamil Grzycki separates the two sides, and we just had the one chance so far in the second half. It fell to Jared Bowen on the 53rd minute, a free kick just left of centre. He had keeper Ben Anick beaten, but it just went over the crossbar. I have to say, Grzycki, who's been looked at by a number of Premier League clubs, has been absolutely outstanding for Hull City today, and they lead by a goal to 0.
Penalty king Abubakar Kamara coming on for Fulham. Schürrle's going off. Let's see what he can do. He owes his teammates something. They're 2-0 down. He's got enough time to do something about it, so let's see if Kamara can do. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what he can do. He owes everybody connected to Fulham one at least. Let's go to the New York Stadium. Latest there, Derm Tanner.
Coming up on the hour, Rotherham 1, Preston 0. Still that thunderbolt free kick on the stroke of half-time from Vauxhall. The difference between these two sides. Double substitution from Paul Warne, bringing on Newell and Ford for Rotherham, for Taylor and Palmer, and they have looked better since then, although Preston are back in their straps again. So it's even Stevens. I do think that Rotherham are going to have to do an awful lot of defending. Rotherham 1, Preston 0.
Let's give you the latest scores then. Premier League, Arsenal 2, Fulham 0 here at the Emirates. Cardiff Spurs at 5:30, Everton 0, Leicester 1. Matchday Live on TalkSport with Just Eat Football Food, living the dream in the Championship. If you don't hear your game in the EFL, it's goalless. Villa 1, QPR 2, Blackburn 2, West Brom 0. Brentford are 1 up on Norwich. Derby 1 apiece with Middlesbrough. Hull lead Bolton 1-0. Ipswich still 1 up on Millwall. In fact, Shane Ferguson has just equalised a penalty, and Millwall are back in it. Shane Ferguson penalty, and it's Ipswich 1, Millwall 1. Forest 1, Leeds 1, and a goal in the Championship of the KCOM. Ollie Pimlock.
Hull City 2, Bolton Wanderers 0. They look like making it 5 wins in a row to the Tigers. It's a really nicely well-worked goal. The ball fell to Evandro 20 yards out. He beat 2 players and slotted into the bottom right-hand corner. Hull City 2, Bolton Wanderers 0.
The goals as they go in, as saying, Forest are level with Leeds 1-1, but Leeds down to 10 men. Swansea 4-0 up at Reading. Rotherham lead Preston 1-0. Wednesday 1, Birmingham 1. Bristol City lead at Stoke 1-0, and Sheffield United are 3-0 up at Wigan. Corner to Arsenal, Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 2, Fulham 0. Xhaka with the corner on the near side. It's played towards the penalty spot, headed away towards the edge of the penalty area. Might be a shot from Torreira. No, he opts to come back outside for Xhaka. Outside the boot, headed goalwards. Goalkeeper comes, defender gets in his way. In the end, Ream clears it. Still 2-0 Arsenal, thanks to Lacazette and Xhaka.
Ewood Park penalty. Don McGuinness.
Rovers 2, West Brom 1. Jay Rodriguez has just pulled one back from the spot after Brunt, just on as a substitute, was brought down in the area. The referee, no hesitation, Oliver Langford, and Rodriguez, who gets booed mercilessly for his Burnley connections, a Burnley man through and through. He's just brought them back into it after Mulgrew and Dak had put Rovers 2-0 up. It's Rovers 2, West Brom 1.
And let's carry on with the latest scores in just a moment, but there's another goal of the KCOM, Ollie Pimlock.
Hull City 3, Bolton Wanderers 0. It's that man again, Kamil Grzycki. He's run 10 or 15 yards. He's pulled the ball to the right-hand side and slotted calmly into the bottom right-hand corner of Ben Anick's net. Hull City 3, Bolton Wanderers 0.
Goals as they go in on a busy day in the EFL in League 1 then. Blackpool 0, Sunderland 1, Bradford 3, 10-man Accrington 0. Connor Wood with the third. Bristol Rovers goalless with Burton. Charlton lead Walsall 2-1. Doncaster 3, Rochdale 0. Luton still being held goalless at home to inform Barnsley. Scunny 2 up at the Posh. Plymouth 2, Oxford 0. Portsmouth 1 up against Wimbledon. Shrewsbury goalless with Fleetwood, and Southend lead Gillingham 1-0, while Coventry have just gone 2 up at Wickham. Johnson Clark Harris with the second in League 2. Bury 1, Crew 1. Crawley have just taken the lead with 10 men against Colchester, who are having a bit of a nightmare Christmas. Luke Gambin with a goal. Forest Green 1, Northampton 1. Lincoln are being held goalless at home by Port Vale, rather surprisingly. Milton Keynes have just gone 4-0 up against Cambridge. Reece Healy's second of the afternoon. It's Macclesfield 1, Tranmere 1. Morecambe 0, Carlisle 1. Arsenal into the box. Lacazette, has he been fouled? not been given by the referee, and Fulham can clear. Morecambe 0, Carlisle 1, Oldham 2 upon Notts County. Stevenage have 10 men, but they're goalless at home to Newport. Exeter lead at Swindon 1-0. Exeter without Jayden Stockley, who's talking to clubs after his release fee was met. Cheltenham 2-1 up at Yeovil. Lincoln have just taken the lead against Port Vale. Long time coming, but Shane McCartney's got it just before the hour mark, and Bury have just taken the lead against Crewe. They were 1 down, and now 2-1 up. Jay O'Shea from the penalty spot. In the National League, Ebbsfleet are 3 up at Braintree now. Eastleigh lead Havant 1-0. Harrogate 1 up on Halifax. Gateshead have equalised at Hartlepool 1-1. A Miles Anderson own goal. Orient lead Dagenham 1-0. Salford 2 up on Wrexham, and Solihull Moors 2. Chesterfield 1. It is Match Day Live on TalkSport. Little break in play here at the Emirates. Has penalty king Kamara made any difference since he's come on, Abraham?
No. Arsenal 2, Fulham 0. 25 is. Look at that penalty incident again. I mean, Lacazette's gone. He's brushed into Seri, and I think the referee's right. I mean, I had this argument this morning on the breakfast show with Jason Cundy. You know, just because you make contact with someone in the penalty area doesn't mean it's a foul, and therefore it's a penalty. And I think Lacazette now is looking a little bit sheepish himself, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was a penalty. Arsenal were all over Fulham like a rash in the second half, and you know, Fulham, the game is gone, I think, for them now, and they've got to rebuild and try and get some sort of momentum after the FA Cup tie at the weekend. They'll come out with Oldham, but it's going to be a real tough ask for them to stay up if they don't defend better. I mean, a couple of seconds ago before you came to me, some really bad defending. They should have got the ball clear. They gave it away to Guendouzi, then they gave it away on the near side to Iwobi. I mean, they just couldn't clear their lines. And every time they do get a chance, they just hand the ball back to Arsenal. I mean, you're not going to win football matches doing that, defending as badly as Fulham have been.
Well, just going back to the penalty thing, the VAR is going to be interesting because if there's contact, it's likely to give a pen. So the Salah one a couple of weeks ago, likely to give a pen. The Maddison one for Leicester against Cardiff, the penalty that Maddison missed, they're likely to give a pen. So even the soft ones that managers complain about, they're still likely to be given, aren't they?
I'm sure the laws of the game state, and I'm happy to be corrected, state that it has to be a foul. I mean, you know, you can't give away a penalty just because there's contact. I was just going to have people running into each other to initiate contact to go down, and the game will become a farce.
It all becomes about opinion then, doesn't it? Hartlepool have taken the lead against Gateshead 2-1. Patrick McLaughlin with that in a North East derby on New Year's Day in the National League. It is Match Day Live on TalkSport. Arsenal lead 2-0, looking fairly comfortable here. Let's go to the cake on another goal, Ollie Pimlock.
It's Hull City 4, Bolton Wanderers 0. This time it's Chris Martin with the strike. Ball pulled back to him on the edge of the box, and he calmly finished into the bottom left-hand corner. This could be a rout. It's Hull 4, Bolton 0.
I think it already is. Just gone close. Leeds at the City Ground. How close? Dave Rowe.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 1, and Kemar Roof very close indeed to making it 2-1. I have to say, Leeds here are playing with 10 men. They had Calvin Phillips sent off late in the first half. Second half, they have been sensational, and the running of Roof has caused Forest all manner of trouble, and he's just latched onto a through ball by Ayling. Pantilimon storming off his line but didn't get there. Roof did, and a slightly wide angle lobbed it over the keeper, and it went just wide of the far post. Nottingham Forest really need a plan B here. They're playing with their man over, but you wouldn't know it the way the game is going at the moment. There's only one winner. Jack Clark got Leeds level, and they've still got plenty of time to go on and win it. The game is live on TalkSport 2. It's still Forest 1, Leeds 1.
In the National League, a second equaliser this afternoon for Chesterfield, 2-2 at Solihull Moors. Lee Shaw has got that one. Back to the Championship to Griffin Park on TalkSport. Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0. We've seen a fabulous full-length save by Norwich keeper Tim Krul from Julien Janvier at point-blank range. As for the Canaries, they've regrouped with striker Jordan Rhodes on as a sub. They've gone 2 up top, 3 at the back with wing-backs. Mark Bircham, why have Norwich changed their formation?
Well, I think they was 1-0 down. They weren't getting much attacking play at all, so they've matched Brentford up with the 3 at the back and wing-backs, and Jordan Rhodes on up front. Tete had to come off, he pulled his groin, so they had to make a change, so we went for a tactical one instead, and Pookie and Jordan Rhodes should cause a bit more problems up top.
Neil Morpie seconds ago with a volley just past the post for Brentford. It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0.
Well, Mitrovic should have scored. Great ball in. He got his head to it, but it's easy for Leno to save. And Arsenal appealing for a free kick, but not being given. And Fulham can break, and they're into the box. Are they going to score? Yes, they are. Guess who it is? Ian Abrahams.
I love football. I really love the irony of football. It's Arsenal 2, Fulham 1, and 48 hours after being a laughing stock, Abu Bukarara, who was being on Instagram, on Twitter, he was being slaughtered by his own fans. Well, now they're cheering because he scored a goal. It was a tap-in, by the way, from 2 yards out. It's not like it's any great goal, but it was well worked by Fulham. Ball across in the end, and Kamara 3 yards out, 2 yards. I mean, the Arsenal marking was abysmal, but it was a lovely ball across, started by Kearney. Sessegnon's ball across, Kamara couldn't miss. Game on! Arsenal 2, Fulham 1.
Yep, Fulham are back in it. Kolasinac has got to go with his man. He just watches him score. It's poor, but Arsenal will go back to what they think should have been a free kick, and I have to say, I agree with them. So Fulham have got away with one there, in my opinion, but they are back in the game. It's Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. There's a goal at the City Ground. Dave Rowe.
What a turnaround. Nottingham Forest 1, Leeds United 2. It had been coming even with 10 men. Leeds have gone from 1 down to 2-1 up, and Gianni Alioski has got his first goal in over 3 months here. Hernandez with the ball clipped towards the far post. Pontus Jansson up for the back, heading it across, and Alioski was there about 3 yards out to nod home and put Leeds deservedly in front. Forest have now replaced Lolly with Osborne, but they are the subject of a real turnaround here. The game is live on TalkSport 2. Forest 1, Leeds 2.
Wow, what can you say about Bielsa's Leeds? Incredible. And what about Millwall? They've done the same. They were 1 down, they're now 2-1 up. Jake Cooper has headed home from close range. Ipswich Town 1, Millwall 2, halfway through the second half at Portman Road in the Championship. Let's go to Pride Park. Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
It's Derby County 1, Middlesbrough 1. Hugo's goal cancelling out the early effort from Wilson. And after that header from Hugo, a couple of opportunities in quick succession. A Danny Bart free header, close range. Carson out with the block. And then a deep cross from Bezic to the far post. And Ayala put a header wide, so some real opportunities. But Derby have just had a little spell of pressure themselves. This is really boiling up nicely, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, it's getting a bit scrappy at times, but it's certainly getting bad-tempered as well. And just seeing Pulis and Keogh have a little tete-a-tete on the sideline there. There's some verbals going on. He wasn't happy with the Derby centre-half, but it's lively to say the least, and I think, it could go either way now.
You look at the table, 5th and 6th in the table going into this match. QPR, as it stands, just 2 points behind them, and what an awful start to the season they had. What does it tell us about the Championship?
Well, I think what Derby have got to do is manage this game a little bit better. I think Frank will be a little bit frustrated, because you can see they've got real talent in this team, but it's about seeing periods of the game through, although they just, as I'm talking, they're just starting to now, I think, get into more of a groove, Derby.
Wilson, the goal scorer for Derby, off injured, replaced by Huddleston. It's Derby 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Plymouth 3 now, Oxford 0. Ruben Lamira's second of the afternoon. In the National League, Barnet 1, Bournemouth 0. Ephraim Mason-Clark has scored on 68. Back to the Championship to Hillsborough in a moment, but here's Kamara on the right-hand side. Mitrovic wants it. Kamara, he squared it, but right into the hands of Leno. Too easy for the Arsenal goalkeeper. What an opportunity for Fulham, but the chances are coming. Still Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. Let's go to Hillsborough. Simon Grayson and Alan Biggs.
Still Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 1, but it's a red-hot contest, certainly since the Birmingham equaliser, and Lee Camp is keeping Birmingham in the game with a succession of saves, some of them really excellent. For instance, the first one from Adam Reach, that was a terrific save after a Bannon tackle had set up a very good Sheffield Wednesday move. Then Matthias denied point blank by Camp following a goalmouth scramble. Stephen Fletcher with a header which he didn't really connect with properly. It was a good chance that, nevertheless, another Camp save, and then again from Fletcher a fierce angle drive, against which we've just seen Jota with a chance wide from Birmingham. They're having to hang on, Simon Grace.
Well, it's been a good second half, hasn't it? Since the goal from Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday have weathered a bit of a storm from Birmingham, certainly come back into the game, and it's been quite an open game recently, and as you said, Lee Camp's made some real good saves, and he's keeping them in it, so at this moment it could go either way, but with Sheffield Wednesday the favourites.
And in fairness, a much better game than we thought it would be. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Birmingham City 1.
It's Matchday Live on TalkSport. Let's go to Villa Park. Latest there, Tom Ross.
71 gone, Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. This game now livening up in terms of getting a little bit edgy, as Queen's Park Rangers appear to be wasting as much time as they can at every opportunity. That's incensing both the Villa bench and the Villa players, and we've seen one instance where Leisner took a yellow card for a foul. Villa took the foul free kick quickly. Tammy Abrams raced away and the referee called them back. It sent everybody into apoplexy. Who knows how this one's going to end? Aston Villa 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Another goal at the City Ground. Dave Rowe.
Equaliser, Nottingham Forest 2, Leeds United 2. Real ginger power from Jack Colback, his second of the game. He hadn't scored on since the last day of last season before today, and he's drilled in from the edge of the area. Osborne's corner from the left-hand side, headed back towards the edge of the area, and right-footed driven home by Jack Colback. What a game here. It's live on TalkSport 2. Forest 2, Leeds 2.
Yep, Geordie Pirlo has got his second of the afternoon. Exeter 2 up at Swindon. Fair play to him. Archie Collins with that on 69 to the bet. 365 now on TalkSport. Simon Humphries.
We've played 73 here. It's Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1. Stoke have made a couple of changes. Peter Crouch on for Benica Furby. Round of a boos all around the stadium here. They wanted Crouch on to play alongside a Furby. Not the case. And then a few minutes later, Berahino's gone for Ryan Woods, who came off to ironic cheers. Bristol have a free kick. Now the goalkeeper's really been tested in the second half, it has to be said, as a free kick's floated in, dangerous. It's come off a Stoke player, I think. Jack Butland scampering to clear it over on that far side, but with 73 gone, it's all going wrong for Gary Rowett's side. Stoke City 0, Bristol City 1.
Carlisle 2 up at Morecambe. Jack Selby with it. Let's head to the Medeski Stadium. Latest there, Nigel Pearson.
15 minutes remain here. Reading 0, Swansea City 4, the scoreline. And since you were last with us, we've seen a decent effort from Nathan Dyer for the Swans. A volley from the edge of the penalty area. It was well held by Yakola in the Royals' goal, to be fair to him. Still haven't seen a tremendous amount from Reading going forward. Not created anything up front and haven't really tested the Swansea keeper to any great extent. And you know, when Jose Gomez breezed into the Madejski Stadium and gave his first press conference and interview as manager of Reading, he was hinting at promotion to the Premier League at the end of next season. Pretty hard to do that from League One. It's Reading 0, Swansea City 4.
Another goal of the cake on Ollie Pimlock.
Hull City 5, Bolton Wanderers 0, and you don't need to guess who scored it. It's Jared Bowen with his 7th goal in 7 games. 5 goals now in his last 4. He's weaved his way into the box and calmly finished into the bottom left-hand corner of Ben Anick's net. He's not had a very happy birthday. It's Hull City 5, Bolton Wanderers 0.
What a player. League One leaders Portsmouth have been pegged back by AFC Wimbledon. It's 1-1 now. Crazy Apaya's got it with 15 to play. Doncaster 4, Rochdale 0 in League One. John Marquis, second of the afternoon. To the New York Stadium on TalkSport. Derm Tanner.
Rotherham 1, Preston 0, and a really important stage of the game here because it is a relentless pressure that Preston are putting on Rotherham, and we've just seen a fantastic save from Marit Rodak from a free kick, a header from Nemecha. It's right in front of him, and it's one of those reflex saves. He just palms it away. Banks-esque. Rotherham still ahead, just Rotherham 1, Preston 0.
Back to the Medeski, a goal there, Nigel Pearson.
It's Reading 1, Swansea City 4, and the first real opportunity that Reading have carved out in this second half, and they've got a goal which gets them a little bit of consolation. Surely there's no comeback from here. There's still 13 minutes remaining in this game, and the Royals have got what looks like a consolation goal. John Doddy Bunvardsen has been on the field of play a matter of moments, bungle the ball home. Reading 1, Swansea 4.
Is that a goal at Villa Park, Tom Ross?
It certainly is. Aston Villa 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. What a goal as well. Right hand side, beautiful cross in. First time met by Tammy Abrahams. That's his second in the game. Aston Villa 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Another goal, that's City ground, Dave Rowe.
What a turnaround again. Nottingham Forest 3, Leeds United 2. Forest back in front. It's Daryl Murphy with a header from a corner. Osborne sends it in from the left-hand side. It's now 2 set pieces Leeds have conceded from in 3 minutes. Corner from the left-hand side by Osborne. Daryl Murphy with the header. Leeds are about to bring on Shackleton to try and shore things up. They were in front with 10 men. They're now behind. And could that 5 minutes of play be a job saver for Aitor Karanka? Daryl Murphy's goal, the game, a thriller, live on TalkSport 2. Forest 3, Leeds 2.
Goal of the New York Stadium, Derm Tanner.
Rotherham extending their lead. They lead Preston by 2 goals to 0. Wonderful deep cross from the byline from Neil. You could see what was happening. Smith was galloping into the box. He rose high and headed it straight past Declan Rudd. It's Rotherham 2, Preston 0.
And Millwall go 3-1 up at Ipswich. Tom Elliott won the penalty for the second goal. He has scored the third goal, the former Wimbledon man. It is Ipswich 1, Millwall 3, and Milton Keynes are now 5-0 up on Cambridge United in League 2. Kieran Agard gets another, this one from the spot. Let's get the team news. Cardiff Spurs, 5:30, Lawrence Mora.
Thanks, Adrian. Tottenham looking to get back to winning ways after a very Spursy defeat to Wolves, while Cardiff have rediscovered their form on the road, having taken 4 points, kept 2 clean sheets over Christmas. One change apiece for this game. The home team, it's Bobby Reid who comes in for Junior Hoylett, the Canadian, dropping to the bench following victory at Leicester. For Tottenham, it's Danny Rose in for the Welsh international Ben Davis, as the left-backs continue to be rotated. Kick-off at 5:30 for Cardiff against Tottenham.
Should be all over, because the man who's on his way to one of the European giants has just scored the third for the Gunners. Ian Abrahams.
11 minutes to go. Arsenal 3, Fulham 1. Guendouzi won the ball back initially. Kolasinac's ball in. It was towards Aubameyang. His effort came off the near post, and Aaron Ramsey is the man who's put the ball in the back of that coolly and calmly from about 8 yards out. The irony of this, Adrian, is that when he came on for Alexander Lacazette about 10 minutes ago, oh my God, the booing was incredible. The home fans didn't want to see Lacazette go off, didn't like the change. Don't mind it now, do they? Cheering enough. 3-1 Arsenal and game, set and match.
Yeah, indeed. Ramsey with the goal. 3-1 to the Gunners. Goal at the New York Stadium. Don't Tanner?
Rotherham 2, Preston 1, and something of a soft goal as the ball comes into the area. It was then hooked over the line. Didn't quite see who got it. He seemed to have stopped for a second, but it definitely given. Rotherham 2, Preston 1.
Portsmouth take the lead again. The Irish international Ronan Curtis with 10 minutes to go. Portsmouth 2, Wimbledon 1. So here in the Premier League, Arsenal lead Fulham 3-1. Earlier, Leicester were 1-0 winners at Everton. This is Talk Sport.
It's time to peel yourself off the sofa and find an even comfier one. The IKEA winter sale is now on, with an extra 10% off sale items for IKEA family members. Search IKEA for more details. Sale now on. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Hi, my name's Andy, and I've lost 12 stone in 33 weeks.
If you have 3 or more stone to lose and have tried 3 or more diets in the last 3 years, Elevere therapy from Silverlink Clinics could transform your life.
So I used to be a 56-inch waist, and I was struggling to get it done up, and now 36, 38-inch waist, no problem, straight off the shelf. Don't put it off, because the more you put it off, the more of your life you're wasting.
Lose the weight, live your life. Click silverlinkclinics.com now.
I want to be free to be me.
Bringing you every goal from every game all season long. Matchday Live on Talk Sport.
There's yet another goal at the City ground. Dave Rowe.
Nottingham Forest 4, Leeds United 2. An absolute screamer by Ben Osborne, who's just come off the bench and could well have secured all 3 points in a fabulous game. Nottingham Forest breaking away. Murphy didn't want to hold the ball up on halfway. Down the left-hand side, played in Osborne, who cut inside, unleashed a curling shot, which smashed in off the underside of the crossbar. And Nottingham Forest, who were 2-1 down against 10 men, have turned it right round to a 4-2 advantage against Leeds United. Fantastic game. It's live on TalkSport 2. Forest 4, Leeds 2.
Yep, and Arsenal could be through for a fourth here. Aubameyang one-on-one, saved by the keeper. It'll go for a corner, so Arsenal lead 3-1. Championship, Villa 2, QPR 2, Blackburn 2, West Brom 1, Brentford are 1 up against Norwich, Derby 1 apiece with Middlesbrough, Hull City 5, Bolton 0, Ipswich 1, Millwall 3. It's Nottingham Forest 4, Leeds 2. You just heard 10-man leads, and that's live on TalkSport 2 right now. What a game. Swansea are 4-1 up at Reading. Rotherham 2, Preston 1, Wednesday 1, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 1 up at Stoke, Sheffield United 3-0 up at Wigan. In League 2, Cheltenham have just gone 3-1 up at Yeovil, and Ebbsfleet 4-0 up at Braintree. In the National League, we've got a goal at the KCOM. Ollie Pimlock.
It's Hull City 6, Bolton Wanderers 0. A free kick whipped in by Jared Bowen. It's come back across the box, and substitute Nua Dicko has headed home. Hull City 6, Bolton 0.
Goal at the Bet365, Simon Humphries.
Stoke City 0, Bristol City 2. 81 minutes on the clock. An absolute defensive howler as far as Stoke City were concerned. The ball played into the penalty area. It's come off the knees of fullback Cuco Martina straight into the path. It diverted past Jack Butland, and there I think it was Callum O'Down. I'm not quite sure who's got the goal for Bristol City. It doesn't matter. They're 2-0 up anyway. The ball slid into the back of the net, and Bristol City are in front, and the chance of We Want Rowett out to come in from the Stoke City supporters. Away to Marrott, away to my left-hand side. 8 to go. Stoke City 0, Bristol City 2.
Another goal here at the Emirates. He's definitely all over Ian Abrahams.
It certainly is. Arsenal 4, Fulham 1. What's that saying? Everything goes to good to those who wait. Well, I can tell you that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has waited all afternoon. In fact, he could have had a match ball to stay home on another day. Eventually, it's a deflected shot that gets him on the score sheet. Socrates' ball across the penalty area, and Aubameyang left all on his own 15 yards out on the right-hand side of the box. Shot deflected off Tim Ream and over Rico into the back. I'm not sure. In one way, yes, 4-1, I think is an accurate reflection, Aid, of the game. And another day, maybe give Fulham a couple more goals. I don't know. They're 4-1 to Arsenal. They've got the job done, and they bounced back after Anfield on Saturday.
Well, they had chances, Fulham, but they didn't have finishes.
No.
So Mitrovic's header in the second half, Session with a couple in the first half. They should have had more than the one goal that they got.
100 million in the sum rate, and they haven't got any finishes.
Yeah, but the recruitment was. But what they have, Mitrovic is a finisher. He just needs more chances than most to get them. But I think that you can't say Arsenal don't deserve it. They absolutely deserve to win this game. They've been, I'd say, comfortably the better side.
10 today, couldn't they?
But they're still guilty of giving up chances through unforced errors, Arsenal. I think that's one of the big problems they've got.
They won 5-1 at the Cottage early in the season. Would you bet in the last 5 minutes of them getting another one?
Of course. I mean, listen, they're free scoring, and Fulham have got to go forward as they are now. But you can't see Fulham are definitely not getting back into this. There's less than 5.5 minutes to go of the 90. It's 4-1 to Arsenal. Goals elsewhere. I tell you, Bury have gone 3-1 up against Crewe. Having a Waterloo will equalise at Eastleigh, and Doncaster 5. Rochdale 0. James Coppinger has got the 5th. Let's go to Griffin Park on TalkSport. Mark Bircham and Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 1, Norwich City 0. The Canaries have enjoyed a prolonged period of pressure. Max Aarons forced a snappy diving save from goalkeeper Dan Bentley. Then a dipping free kick by Mario Vrancic scraped the outside of the post. Mark Bircham alongside me. Can you see Norwich getting back into this with just under 10 minutes to go now?
They can with Rhodes and Pukki up top, but they need to get something back in there. They've had the free kick that's hit the post, and other than that, not really had a shot on target. I've been disappointed in them this afternoon. Brentford look more like the team that's going to get the next goal.
Do you think this changed? We spoke earlier that Brentford had changed to a back three, and it's certainly working. They're looking a much better team now, aren't they? Yeah, definitely. I think with the back four, with the two centre-backs in there, Dave was a little bit naive and made mistakes. For them, especially with the crosses coming in, it's got an extra defender in the middle of the goal to deal with it, and it's really helped them. So Brentford have had a couple of long-range shots by substitute Ollie Watkins. They've both squirted off target, and it's still Brentford 1, Norwich 0.
In League 2, Milton Keynes 6, Cambridge United 0 now. Let's go to Pride Park. Alvin Martin and Jeff Peters.
8 minutes to go here. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 1. Wilson and Hugo will the goals. Holmes and Nugent, the former Borough man, have come on for Waghorn and Evans. Downing has replaced Saville for the visitors. Who looks more likely to get possibly a decisive goal in this one, Alvin?
Well, I think at the moment it's Derby who are probably on the front foot, Jeff, but it's anyone's game still, and they're looking pretty solid at the back. I think Ayala's been very good for them at centre-half, Middlesbrough. But I've got to give credit to the young side, Derby, but they've kept going. There are times when they look a little bit inexperienced, but they're full of running and they're full of honesty. But I don't think Frank Lampard, when I look down there at the bench, has got that many options. I think that's something that maybe they're going to have to look at, maybe sorting out in the window, because he needs more to be able to turn a game, and he hasn't got it on the bench today.
One shot on target came in the first 2 minutes when they scored a goal. That'll probably disappoint him.
Yeah, I think, look, they've had good spells, but I think they have not got any height. And when Middlesbrough decided to really press the game, they haven't got somebody they can get the ball up to. That's the problem that they've got, is that they've got to be playing really well with a lot of these technical players to be able to get the best out of them.
7 left at Pride Park. Derby 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Red card at Ewood Park. Don McGuinness.
Well, Rovers 2, West Brom 1, and it's 10-man West Brom that'll finish this final few minutes. And West Brom are right in this. They were causing Rovers problems. It was getting nervy around Ewood. Since that J. Rodriguez penalty had put West Brom right back in the game. But now it's a straight red for Livermore on as a substitute for hauling down Lewis Travis when Rovers had been awarded a free kick. So a really daft one from West Brom's point of view. Can Rovers hang on with the 10-man West Brom? Rovers 2, West Brom 1.
Late goals in the National League. Dover take the lead at Maidstone in the Kent derby. Eastleigh take the lead against Havant 2-1. Josh Hare with that. Boreham would have equalised at Barnet. A Bradley Ash penalty 1-1. Stevenage with 10 men have taken the lead against Newport. Alex Ravel with 5 to play. Goal at Griffin Park. Tony Incenzo.
It's Brentford 1, Norwich 1, and Tim Closer is claiming the equaliser. Corner on the left-hand side by Vrancic. Near post header by Closer. Seemed to get a deflection and then went through the arms and the legs of goalkeeper Daniel Bentley. Alongside me, Mark Bircham. Mark.
Yeah, I was just saying to you before, Tony, they've had about